Chapter 24:22, Peerless Beauty. Chapter 24:22, Peerless Beauty. At that moment, the system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the escort mission Protect Princess Sand Moon. Mission level S. Task reward 1 million experience, 100,000 points of true chi, 10 points of arrogant god energy value, a heavenly soul treasure. If you receive a high rank reward for the quest, it might trigger a special reward. Looking at the quests that appeared in the system, tell the truth. Long Fei was not interested in this mission at all. S-class task reward was simply too low, 10 million experience was nothing to look at. Long Fei did not care at all. Even if it was the special reward that activated only because of the high-level score, it was definitely a scam by the system. Long Fei simply could not believe it. However, without waiting for Long Fei to reject, the system beeped. Ding! System notification. You cannot refuse a quest. Rob. System F*CKU. How can you not reject a quest? What do you mean? Long Fei was not in a good mood as he thought to himself. Don't let me find out who designed this system for you in the future. Otherwise, I'll definitely beat you until you're covered in shit. Who? Long Fei exhaled, looked at Princess Sand Moon, and said, Agreeing is fine, but first take off your veil. Huh. Princess Sand Moon was slightly surprised. The other clan members were also startled. The old man stepped forward and said, My lord, you can't. Once our Sand Moon tribe's young lady takes off her veil, she will marry the man she first saw. Uncle Fu, it's fine. He doesn't belong to our Sand Moon tribe, so we naturally don't need to follow the clan rules of the Sand Moon tribe. The woman was very indifferent as she gently lifted her veil. A peerless face appeared under the veil. It was spotlessly clean, fresh and refined, to give a feeling of being bathed in the spring breeze. Beautiful. It was the beauty of youth. Long Fei trembled slightly as he muttered, She looks like she's really made of water. The girl gently put down the veil. Can you help us now? Long Fei said, I will keep my word. I will escort you all through the desert, but there is one thing that you must understand, no matter who you are. You must listen to me. The girl said with a few seconds of hesitation. All right, Long Fei said, then let's go. Since it was a quest that couldn't be refused, Long Fei could only accept it. He could only console himself. 10 million experience is also experience. Maybe there will be some special rewards. And who knows, I might even be able to have an alluring trip with this princess. Ha ha. Long Fei's heart started to waver as he saw a beautiful lady who had the grace of a foreign nation flying in the sky. Now, next to him was another beautiful woman similar to the one in Xinjiang, which made people feel relaxed and happy. Long Fei felt very happy. At least, there were a lot of beauties around. The girl said a few words to the people around her. They didn't have anything else to pack, so they tidied themselves up a little and stepped back into the desert. However, at first, they all had camels, but now they were walking on their own feet. It was obvious that these people could not bear with the food anymore, but the princess had exceeded Long Fei's expectations. After 6 hours, she had been following Long Fei the entire time. Transformers sent a sound transmission to Long Fei. Boss, the ground is too hot. To the Transformers, these dozens of people were nothing at all, not much at all. Long Fei said, No need, you go. Transformers was ready to fight at any time, and once they were carried, they would lose the opportunity to fight. Long Fei didn't want his brother to be injured just because he wanted to protect a few strangers. Even if it was a mission that could not be refused, Long Fei would not risk his brother's life. Not worth it. 6 hours. Speaking of which, it was strange that no desert giant scorpion had appeared at all. Not only the desert giant scorpion, even the small-scale demon beast had not appeared at all. One had to know that the desert was one of the most dangerous places in the wilderness. Not only was the weather bad, but more importantly, there were all kinds of deadly demon beasts in the desert. But now, not a single one. This was a little abnormal. Long Fei moved and said to Kai Lina, who was in the air, "Did you find anything? I feel a little out of place." Kai Lina replied, "I haven't found anything so far. Or maybe it's because I can't sense anything from within the sand." She was also a bit worried. She sent a sound transmission to the Transformers saying, "Pay more attention. I can't see anything from up in the air. They might all be hiding in the sand." Transformers' expression tensed up, and he immediately replied, "I understand." The level of vigilance at high altitudes was the realm of the land, the perfect combination. The reason why Kai Lina stayed was to protect Long Fei, and to absolutely not let him be in any danger. This was something that she had promised Immortal Master Lu Yuan. It was also her hope to return to her hometown. One day passed. Nothing happened. A flat piece of land appeared, and a bonfire was lit. Long Fei took out some food and water. Only then did those people heave a sigh of relief. After an entire day, they almost couldn't hold on any longer. Long Fei looked at the girl with veil and asked, "You are the Sand Moon tribe. So from the name, you should be living in the desert, right? How can we cross the desert now?" The girl did not hide anything and said, "We do live in the desert, but that was a long time ago. The desert now is completely different from the one before." Long Fei said, "What's different? Isn't it the same in the desert?" A trace of loneliness appeared in the girl's eyes. There are dangers everywhere in the desert now. As long as you go against her, no matter if it's the magic tribe or the beasts, as long as you step into the desert, you will die here. Who? Long Fei asked. Uncle Fu immediately interrupted. "No one. The desert is changing every day. It used to be suitable for us Sand Moon tribe, but now it's not. That's what our young miss meant." Obviously, he was lying. Long Fei did not say it because he did not want to. So since he was not willing to say it, Long Fei could not be bothered to ask. However, the young girl's expression secretly tightened, as if she was thinking about something sad. Her eyes were filled with tears, and she couldn't help but clench her fists tightly. The next day, he continued on his way. Still nothing happened. He did not meet any demon beast, and that desert giant scorpion did not appear again. Long Fei felt that something was amiss. However, Uncle Fu and the rest were happy. They thought that Long Fei was too strong, that the desert giant scorpion did not dare to attack again. Only the girl with veil was slightly nervous. Standing on top of a mountain, the scorching sun was burning like a flame in the sky. The sand was frantically absorbing the heat, and the heat was also crazily dissipating. The heat was visible to the naked eye. Beads of sweat the size of beans rolled down. This day was exceptionally hot and dry, just like the days in the pill furnace. The girl with veil looked ahead and said softly, "We are now entering the heart of the desert." Chapter 24-23, Sky Fire. Chapter 24-23, Sky Fire. Long Fei wiped away his sweat and said, "The hinterland? Could it be that we're still at the edges of the road after walking for 2 days?" Uncle Fu said, "The savage desert is vast and boundless. At the beginning, we were only at the edge of the desert, but now we are going to enter its center." Transformers asked, "Isn't this place too hot? The temperature here is several times hotter than outside." Uncle Fu said, "Legend has it that it's the punishment from the heavens. Millions of years ago, a heavenly fire appeared here, and the flames fell from the sky and burned for 100,000 years, turning this place into a fiery desert. No matter if it's humans or beasts, neither of them can survive here. This is the punishment from the heavens. Air. Why does it sound like old Lord Taishang's alchemy furnace was overturned by Sun Monkey and was set ablaze? Long Fei muttered, and then asked, then why does the heavens punish us here? It can't be for no reason, right? We'll see. Both humans and beasts are unable to survive in this place. How many years has your Sand Moon tribe been living here? Aren't those desert giant scorpion all still alive? And well, Long Fei asked. Uncle Fu was at a loss for words. He didn't know how to respond. Girl with Veil said, there is a special function of our Sand Moon tribe's body, which is to absorb water from the sand. Huh. Long Fei glanced at Girl with Veil and said, do you take me as a 3-year-old child? Absorb water from the sand, just in the sand. You absorb one for me to see. If you can absorb water, why do you drink so much from me? We don't have enough water now. He didn't believe it at all. If they could absorb the water, would they still need to drink it? This group of people were just a group of swindlers, completely here to swindle Long Fei. Girl with Veil's expression was somewhat downcast as he said, not now. Playing with me? Long Fei was very angry. He didn't want to listen to the girl with Veil's explanation, so he walked down the hill as fast as he could, wanting to finish the mission earlier. Girl with Veil looked afar, and his fists couldn't help but tighten. Uncle Fu whispered, Princess, let's go. At this moment, rumble, rumble, rumble. A series of explosions suddenly sounded out. The sand layer was moving crazily. Before anyone could react, the sand under Girl with Veil's feet was already moving crazily. It directly formed a funnel-like vortex. The girl had no time to react at all, as she sunk in instantly. Long Fei's face tightened. Both of Transformers' fists exploded as he said in a deep voice, F***CK, you only know how to do sneak attacks. It came too fast. In addition, without any sort of alertness, neither Transformers nor Kai Lina could sense the dangerous aura below the layer of sand. Actually, it wasn't because their cultivation wasn't high enough. It was because of the characteristics of the desert giant scorpion. Once they had concealed themselves, they were like lifeless objects, motionlessly moving in the sand, let alone the S of the Emperor Zhenwu's realm. Even they would not be able to sense their existence. Everyone was caught off guard by his sudden appearance. Seeing the youth fall in, Uncle Fu immediately cried out, Princess! Transformers threw himself at him, but the speed at which the ground was caving in was simply too fast. Holy **T. Long Fei cursed angrily and thought, there must be something wrong with this woman. At this moment, Long Fei moved, releasing a strong burst of quintessential essence, releasing his strongest power at the 9th level of the spirit refinement realm. He grabbed the Ju-Kei broken sword and injected his quintessential essence. Boom! He suddenly swung his arm. The Ju-Kei broken sword flew straight up into the sky, then heavily plummeted down. It pierced down almost right into Girl with Veil's face. Crack! Boom! A series of painful screams came from the sand. Dark green liquid surged out from the sand, and a thick mountain of sand churned a few times. And then there was no more activity. It was also at this time. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Desert Giant Scorpion for obtaining 50,000 experience, 5,000 points for True Chi, and 1 point for Arrogant God energy value. 1/killed. Ju-Kei Broken Sword was the Ocean King's weapon, the magic weapon in the universal realm. Killing this kind of demon beast was enough. It was just that. To activate the Ju-Kei sword's power, he needed a huge amount of primeval essence, and Long Fei's opportunity to use up all of it just now was almost used up. Fortunately, The zombie inner core could heal indefinitely, or else the true chi value would be gone. Girl with veil crawled up from the deep pit, still shaken, looking at the distant Long Fei. His heart shook greatly as he killed a huge scorpion with one sword strike. This man was very strong. She had initially thought that Long Fei was relying on the protection of the Transformers. Not at all. And this dagger, she had never seen it before. In addition, the power of this sword was just too great. It was so powerful that it was her first time seeing it. But this sword was a broken sword. If it could be repaired, then its might would be even more ferocious. Long Fei kept the idea. The Ju Kei sword returned to its sheath. Long Fei was also somewhat depressed in his heart. Sigh, if I had known that the underworld fire could instantly kill the Ocean King, I wouldn't have broken this sword. If it's a complete Ju Kei sword, the power will definitely be even more acute. What a pity. The girl quickly calmed down and said respectfully to Long Fei, "Thank you." This time it was sincere. Long Fei waved his hand and said, "There's no need to thank me. I will definitely do as I've promised you. Now I have a question. You must answer it truthfully. If you dare to lie to me, I swear that I will immediately leave you behind." Girl with veil's eyebrows tightened and said, "Go ahead and ask." Long Fei asked, "Why did the desert giant scorpion specially deal with you? Don't tell me it's a coincidence. I want to hear the truth. It couldn't be a coincidence. There must be a secret about her." Uncle Fu's expression tightened as he gently shook his head at Girl with veil. Girl with veil was not moved and said indifferently, "Because I have something that they want." "They? Desert giant scorpion?" Long Fei asked. Girl with veil said, "No, desert giant scorpion is just a puppet created by her. She is a devil created by our Sand Moon tribe. And it is also why she would punish our Sand Moon tribe, causing the heaven flames to descend and turn our Sand Moon tribe into a flaming dead desert. Devil?" Long Fei became interested and thought, "This should be a big boss, right?" Long Fei asked, "Then what exactly do you have on you?" Uncle Fu shook his head again. Long Fei quietly waited. If she did not say anything, Long Fei would not bother to care. That was his sex. Girl with veil hesitated for a moment. Then she took out a black iron box that was filled with runes. The moment she took it out, the rune on the metal box flashed with a trace of fire. It was as if he had been activated. At the same time, all sorts of explosions resounded from the depths of the desert, like the roars of 10,000 beasts. Long Fei asked, "What is this?" Girl with veil said, "Sky fire." Chapter 24:24. A Boss, Golden Giant King. Chapter 24:24. A Boss, Golden Giant King Skyfire. Long Fei was a little doubtful. "Didn't you guys say that the heaven flames are your Sand Moon tribe's punishment? How come I'm in your control now? What is a sky fire?" Long Fei didn't have any idea. However, judging from the mysterious runes on the metal box, it must be some sort of powerful force. Girl with veil quickly kept the iron box into the space ring, and it was also at this moment that the howls from the depths of the desert died down. She said slightly, "Our Sand Moon tribe is a descendant of an ancient refiner race, so we can control all the fires in the world. Although the heavenly fire is exceptionally strong, and it has been burning here for 100,000 years, our ancestors also used 100,000 years to subdue it. It was only because the heavenly fire was subdued that the flames extinguished. From then on, sky fire has been passed down in the Sand Moon tribe. It's just that, after those ancestors subdued the heaven flame, they all died, and no one could control the heaven flame anymore. They could only activate its seal. But the demons that our Sand Moon tribe created have always wanted to obtain it, because heaven fire can melt all things and can similarly destroy all things. If she were to obtain it, the consequences would be incomparably terrifying. So strong. Destroy everything to melt all things. Long Fei's heart trembled and asked doubtfully, "What exactly is the devil that your Sand Moon tribe created?" Girl with Veil said, "An immortal demon." "An immortal demon?" Long Fei said, "There is no such thing as absolute immortality in this world." Long Fei had used undead powder as before. In those 3 minutes, he would definitely not die. However, after some time, his body would still remain that of a mortal. As long as his strength was strong enough, he would be instantly killed. No matter what method you use, she will not die. At that time, we thought that by relying on her power to rule the wilderness, we could sweep across the entire Jinwu continent, but in the end, we discovered that we were wrong. We have created a demon that is completely out of our control. Hearing this, Long Fei became a little excited and thought, "Looks like it's another super boss. I like it. Killing monsters to level up? Too slow. If he killed the boss, leveling would be much easier." Long Fei wished that he could immediately kill this immortal demon. In his heart, he felt relieved. Didn't I say it before? The system can't always scam me every time. At least, there's a super boss in this quest. As long as I kill it, I might be able to go berserk again. Long Fei became excited. Long Fei immediately asked, "Where is that demon?" Girl with Veil shook his head and said, "Deep in the desert." "Let's go. Take me there." Long Fei was unable to endure the thirst. Girl with Veil was startled, then said, "We must avoid her as much as possible. In this desert, she is the king, and no one can move her. Otherwise, we wouldn't have left the desert. This is the home of our Sand Moon tribe." Uncle Fu also quickly said, "We can't go there. People will die." "Absolutely not." Everyone from Sand Moon tribe kneeled. Transformers replied in disdain, "Coward." Long Fei said, "Kong Kim, don't talk nonsense. If you don't want to go, then don't. I won't go." As Long Fei spoke, he sent a sound transmission to Kai Lina using the idea, "Go and scout him out." Kai Lina replied, "Understood." As long as they were in the desert, none of that was a problem. With Kai Lina, an aerial reconnaissance aircraft, she would be able to detect the position of the boss. Rumble. Another desert giant scorpion sneak attack. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing desert giant scorpion for obtaining 50,000 experience, 5,000 points for true chi, and 1 point for arrogant god energy value. King Kong's right hand. After Long Fei killed a desert giant scorpion, he immediately warned, "Wallowa!" A mountain of sand suddenly flipped over, and a gigantic scorpion rushed out, the poisonous spikes on its tail piercing towards Transformers' head like thick steel bars. Transformers did not dodge, and directly used his head to block the attack. Crack! The poisonous spike broke. King Kong grabbed the desert giant scorpion's tail. Bang! With a swing of his hand, he ruthlessly smashed down from midair. Cheap shot. Attack me again. Bam! 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 An enormous scorpion was completely smashed to smithereens. The surrounding people were all scared, silly. Transformers was too savage. The second desert giant scorpion flipped over dry. Long Fei took a glance at the girl with veil and thought to himself, "This is already the 6th sneak attack today. It seems like the further we go, the more desert giant scorpion there are. Do you want to summon a few alien demons to play? I just don't think there's any meaning in killing them all. The experience points is not bad, but the quantity is too little." Long Fei muttered in his heart. He glanced at the sky. Kai Lina had not returned. It had already been half a day, and Long Fei was a little worried in his heart. Without waiting for Long Fei's breath, "Wallowa!" Transformers roared. You still dare to come? Long Fei's gaze tensed up. 7th time. Moreover, this time, the surrounding sand was moving, and it was as if there were countless giant snakes moving under the sand, moving at an extremely fast speed. Long Fei's expression tensed up. He took out the Ju-Kei sword and said, Kong Kim, don't chase too deep. Protecting the people first is more important. Transformers immediately shrank back and said, Okay, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 3 desert giant scorpion instantly rushed out. The Ju-Kei sword in Long Fei's hand moved slightly. True essence, explode. 1 step into the sky. True essence flooded out like a tide. Phantom sword dance. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the blink of an eye, sword cheese came crashing down like shock waves. The 3 desert giant scorpion were instantly chopped into pieces. A system announcement sounded out. Ding, ding, ding. Right at this moment, the position where the veiled youth and the others were standing crumbled down. Long Fei's face tightened and immediately shouted, King Kong below. Not waiting for him to finish. Shwa. A bolt of golden lightning shot out from the depths of the sand, directly extending into the air. Under the scorching sun, a golden streak appeared. It was extremely dazzling. This was the tail of a giant golden scorpion. It was incomparably huge. It was more than 10 times the body of an ordinary desert giant scorpion. Moreover, now there was only 1 tail, and his whole body was in the sand. At this critical moment, the giant golden tail pierced towards Long Fei, who was in midair heavily. It was incredibly fast. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. The Ju-Kei sword was blocking his chest. Bam! The golden stinger stabbed out. A powerful shockwave burst out. Light scattered in all directions. At the same time, Long Fei's body also exploded outwards like a kite with its string cut. His internal organs were all rolling around in pain. The golden giant did not chase after Long Fei. With a move of its power, all of the surrounding sand mountains exploded like a desert, frantically surging upwards and burying everyone from the Transformers and the girl with veil. King Kong! Long Fei roared. Girl with veil also exclaimed out, Take Tianhua and leave! Whoosh! The iron box flew out from the gap. And then, other than Long Fei, everyone, including Kong Kim, was buried. In an instant, the golden giant moved like lightning and disappeared. Chapter 24-25. I Can Let You Go? Chapter 24-25. I Can Let You Go? The sand mountain became calm. The violent explosion disappeared. The movement beneath the sand also disappeared. Everything calmed down, as if nothing had happened. Only a single Long Fei was left there. Long Fei's eyes were blank as he looked around him. In the endless desert, he could not see any difference. King Kong. After a long time, Long Fei then roared out. He ran forward with all his might, frantically digging the sand. 10 minutes. He dug a few meters deep hole. His fingernails were broken and his fingers were bleeding. There was still no sign of King Kong, and so were the others. The golden giant swallowed them up and brought them away. Long Fei clenched both his fists tightly. The veins on his forehead bulged, and he roared towards the sky. Those who touch my brother die. He pushed himself to the limit. It bounced up from the crater and fell down. He picked up the iron box left behind by the Princess Sand Moon on the ground, and with another leap, he rushed towards the direction in which the golden giant had disappeared. He was furious. He did not expect that when the golden giant attacked him, it would actually attack King Kong and the others at the same time. From this, it could be seen that this boss was not simple. I don't care who you are. Who cares what kind of boss you are? If you attack my brother, you will be prepared to face eternal damnation. Long Fei said as he gnashed his teeth in his heart. Whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk schwa. From the top of the mountain to the top, he jumped continuously. In the desert, Long Fei's figure was like a streak of white lightning. After 4 whole hours, Long Fei did not rest even a second. They were all chasing with all their might. However, he was lost. There were no auras of desert giant scorpion around, nor were there any auras emitted from transformers and the rest. Other than the sand, there was only sand. It was the same everywhere. They had no idea where the golden giant had brought them to. Ah! Long Fei crazily roared, "Come out!" The sound spread for tens of kilometers, but there was no response at all. The savage desert was simply too big. In the desert, Long Fei was as small as a grain of sand. No one could be seen. He could not see the demon beast. Not being able to see anything alive, Long Fei was like a person abandoned here, lonely and helpless. It made everyone panic. Long Fei ran once again. Another few hours passed, and the scorching sun set, but he still could not find anything. Hoo, huff, huff. Both of Long Fei's hands pressed against the ground as he panted heavily. His body was already covered in sweat, the scorching sun and the sand crazily absorbing all the water in his body. After an entire day of madly sprinting, Long Fei's physique had reached its limit. Without water, no matter how high his cultivation was, he would die here. This was the law of nature. In an ordinary place, Long Fei could have stopped eating and drinking last month, but in this desert, the water in his body drained away too quickly. Furthermore, he was running at full speed. Even though he had the protection of the armor, his spiritual treasure was powerless in the face of the natural laws of the world. He couldn't last a day. This was also the terror of the savage desert. No matter how powerful the powerhouse was, they would not dare to rashly enter. Exhausted, Long Fei rolled his body, laid on the scalding sand, looked at the sky, and muttered, Long Fei, oh Long Fei, why are you so useless? You can't even protect your own brothers? What the F *** K? Are you still treating this as boss? Now you can't even protect the people around you. What are you going to take to the God's sect gathering? What are you going to take to fight against the Zhao family? What are you going to use to challenge Yurong's master for? Huh. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, feeling extremely unwell in his heart. He was unhappy with himself. Who? And then Long Fei suddenly flipped himself around and sat up. He knew that complaining at this time would be of no use. Giving up would only make him even more depressed and would only make him even more useless. I have to find King Kong. There must be a way. Long Fei calmed himself down and continued to think, and recall every single word that the Princess Sand Moon had said. Suddenly, Long Fei discovered a detail. When Princess Sand Moon took out the black iron box, all sorts of desert giant scorpions' roars and explosions could be heard from afar. An iron box. Sky fire. Yes. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. He immediately took out the iron box from the Space Ring S. The moment he took it out, the runes on the box seemed to ignite again. Scarlet flames appeared. At this moment, rumble, rumble, rumble. Irritation. A furious roar came out, and it was not far from Long Fei, less than 10 kilometers away. It raged wildly. Waves of roars rang out. The night sky was shaking. The sand around Long Fei trembled and tumbled as if there was a gigantic monster in front of him. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he said in a low voice, "Damn, we finally found it." Immediately, Long Fei quickly put away the iron box. It was also at this time. The cries of the demon beast disappeared and quickly returned to normal. Long Fei looked at the iron box in his hands and muttered to himself, "Looks like the things inside can either make them go crazy or make them panic. Sky fire. What kind of flame is it? Long Fei was curious about the things inside the metal box. What kind of flame could allow a race to spend 100,000 years to gather, refine, and tame? For this, he had to pay the price with his life. What kind of flame was it? Long Fei thought about how he had fought his way through the heavens in his past life, and said faintly, could it be that he's even more powerful than the heavenly flames? Forget it. Now is not the time to think about this. Long Fei kept his curiosity. Even if he was, now was not the time. Was King Kong still alive? Long Fei was most worried about King Kong. And then Long Fei completed marking the road and quickly moved to the back. 10 kilometers was still a little too close. 10 minutes later, Long Fei moved a little, looked into the distance, and said, "You captured my brother, right? You like sneak attacks in the sand, right? Fine. Then Lousy will let you see what a sneak attack is." The idea connected to the alien queen in the war pet space. Alien Queen immediately woke up when he sensed Long Fei's ideas summon. Just when Long Fei was about to summon the Alien Queen, boom, Kai Lina fell from the sky, not smoothly landing, but his entire body was instantly smashed down. His entire body was filled with wounds, and blood continuously spurted out from his mouth. Long Fei's face tensed up, and immediately helped Kai Lina up. "What's the situation?" Kai Lina hurriedly said, Go, hurry up and leave." Kai Lina did not belong to the warriors of the Zhen Wu continent. What realm was her cultivation in compared to the warriors of this world? Long Fei felt that Kai Lina was very strong. It would at least be a Mahayana realm or an even higher one. However, he was actually heavily injured. Long Fei was in a bad mood. The anger in his heart had inflated to the point of bursting. F***CK, touching my brother, you're still hurting my woman? How could I let you go? Chapter 24-26, Abnormal Proficiency. Chapter 24-26, Abnormal Proficiency. Long Fei was the type of person who would take revenge. "If you touch me, I'll return it to you 10 times. If you touch my brother and hurt my woman, then I will destroy all 18 generations of your ancestors. Who cares who you are?" Kai Lina felt the rage in Long Fei's heart and immediately said, "There's a demon inside that can't go. Going is seeking death. Listen to me. Don't go over there." She had been severely injured by that demon. If not for the god powder, she would have been able to evolve once so fast that she could not escape. Don't talk about demons. Even if it's the devil's grandfather, I will still take care of him. Long Fei was furious. "Where's Kong Kim?" Kai Lina said, "I don't see, just listen to me. There's still a chance for us to leave now. If we're too late, it'll really be too late. That demon is too terrifying." Long Fei said, "No matter how terrifying it is it as terrifying as the Ocean King? I can even kill the Sea King. What kind of demon can I kill?" Long Fei said in a huff. He could not leave. If he did not leave, there was still a chance for him to save King Kong. If he left, King Kong would definitely die. To Long Fei, it was good news that Kai Lina did not find Kong Kim. At least, King Kong still had a chance of living. He definitely wouldn't abandon his brothers. Kai Lina shivered. Who killed Ocean King? She did not know that she was unconscious at that time, but now that Long Fei said that he had killed her, Kai Lina's heart trembled slightly, but he did not believe it the next second, because it was absolutely impossible. Sea King was too strong. In her opinion, only after she was killed by the immortal master Lu Yuan would she listen to the words of the immortal master Lu Yuan and stay by Long Fei's side. Kai Lina said, anxiously, "The situation is different. That demon can't be killed. It's a monster. Even the dark world doesn't have such an indestructible monster." "Not die. Long Fei thought about what the Princess Sand Moon had said. His fists tightened and said, "There is no such thing as absolute immortality in front of me." The idea moved. "Alien Queen, come out!" Boom! Alien Queen came out of Warpet's space and knelt on one knee. "Master!" Without another word, Long Fei immediately said, "Get me a demon army from the alien." Alien Queen said, "Understood, Master, but I need energy." Long Fei directly took out 10 primordial crystals. "Is that enough?" Alien Queen's eyes were filled with excitement as he said, "Enough! I don't know what type of alien demon master wants." Huh. Long Fei was secretly shocked and said, "You can still control attributes." Alien Queen said, "It's because the Grand Mist crystals Master gave me are extremely powerful and have sufficient energy to change their attribute. Actually, in this period of time, Long Fei's Warpet space had broken through due to the Grand Mist crystal that he had given her. Grand Mist crystal. The cultivation resources of Powerhouse were like spirit stones and spirit stones, but the energy within the Grand Mist crystal was far greater. It was also the currency of the entire universal realm. However, the level of the Zhan Wu continent was too low. There was no primordial crystal at all. Long Fei thought for a moment, then said, "Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Give me some of each of the 5 attributes." Alien Queen immediately replied, "Understood." Following that, she then walked to the side and started to lay eggs crazily. Not long after, all of the eggs around her were densely packed with alien eggs. Long Fei looked ahead and said, "You are a demon, right?" "I am also a demon. Let's see who will eat who." Long Fei looked at the rate at which the Alien Queen was spawning. Before daybreak, the 10,000 demon armies of the alien would gather. He destroyed everything with ease. Kai Lina said, "The alien demons are indeed fierce. They can deal with Desert Giant Scorpion, but they can't deal with that demon." Long Fei said angrily, "If they can't handle it, then there's still me." "Demons? What kind of demon is he?" Kai Lina said, "His entire body is covered in sand. Regardless of how you hit him, you will not be able to harm him. His attack is not something you can expect. The feeling I get is that as long as there is sand, he is invincible." Huh. Hearing this, Long Fei was slightly startled and muttered to himself, "Why do I feel like the sand crocodiles in the One Piece world?" You want to compare me to having the Alien Queen produce more water attribute alien demons? Let's take a gamble. Long Fei moved and ordered the number of water attribute alien demons will increase by 1. Alien Queen immediately replied, "Understood, Master." Long Fei looked at Kai Lina and said, "I know you are worried about me, but I am a man and Kong Kim is my brother. I must do what I need to do." As they spoke, Long Fei took out some healing pills, passed them over, and said, "You heal your injuries first." Finished. Long Fei walked up to a mountain alone and sat cross-legged. There is no such thing as an immortal in this world. Even gods would have their lifespan run out and have weaknesses. As long as you are strong enough, there is no such thing as immortal. Long Fei was very sure of this. Huff. Long Fei let out a light breath as he withdrew his idea and entered the world of imprints on his left arm. Underworld fire. Underworld fire. Come out, come out. To be able to kill even the Ocean King of Universal Realm, the power of Underworld fire was too great. If he could cultivate it, what devil would he be? What sand crocodile? One move for 1 second. In the Ming clan's mark. Long Fei's idea seemed to be living in a dark space, void and void, like hell, with only an endless stream of power of nether. However, Long Fei was not interested in these powers at all. What he wanted was the power of the underworld fire. Underworld fire. Just what do I need for you to appear? Long Fei kept trying. There was no reaction at all from within the space. Really? How did it happen last time? Long Fei really wanted to know, but he couldn't understand. If I can't do it, then. All right. Long Fei gave up, but he did not leave the space of the mark. The idea had also moved. Decay, Ghost Claw, come. Shwa. Rumble. In that moment, Long Fei released the cultivation technique from Hai Wang's body, the Ghost Emperor's inheritance. The corrupt Ghost Claw was released as well. It was just a test, but he did not expect Long Fei to actually release it. Furthermore, in that instant, his arm became like a dried-up ghost claw, crazily absorbing the surrounding power of Nether. The power of Nether entered his body. The power was surging. At the same time, the spring of life that was forcefully released from the Ming clan imprint on Long Fei's left arm suddenly moved. Power of Nether? Absorb. He began to crazily absorb the spiritual energy. Ding. Proficiency plus 100 points. Holy SH *T. Long Fei was a little stupefied. Since we have released it, and the proficiency directly increased it by 100 points, isn't this a little too exaggerated? Chapter 24-27, Ghost Emperor. Chapter 24-27. Ghost Emperor. At the very beginning, Long Fei had immediately cultivated using the corrupt Ghost Claw. He had also succeeded in his training. It was just that. No matter how Long Fei tried, he just could not release it. Because of the Universal Realm's cultivation technique, Long Fei's current level was simply not high enough. But when he had released it just now and absorbed a large amount of power of Nether, the power within his body had instantly become stronger. Even though Long Fei entered the imprint space using the idea, however, he was sure that there was a powerful power of Nether in his body, but he didn't know why the power of Nether would be absorbed so quickly. He was confused. However, this did not hinder his excitement. Proficiency plus 100. You've overpowered my bro. Long Fei immediately opened up the system to check on the proficiency in his rotten ghost claw. After reading it, his expression instantly changed, as if he was impotent. *CK. You bastard. Why don't you just die? 1 rank 1 proficiency requires 2 100,000 points. What the heck is this cultivation technique? God-tier cultivation technique wouldn't be so hard to cultivate. After the appearance of the proficiency, the attribute of flying cultivation technique also appeared. Cultivation method, corrupt ghost claw, Ghost Emperor legacy grade. Proficiency 100 points. Description: decayed ghost claw is the inheritance of the Ghost Emperor. It has the ability to devour and absorb all powers. Description 2. Upon reaching level 1, you can release a level 1 Ghost Emperor to fight. Seeing that, Long Fei's eyes became serious. He stared at the 4 words, Level 1 Ghost Emperor, with a lifeless look in his eyes. Oh wow, Level 1 Ghost Emperor. What level is this? Ghost Emperor? Powerhouse of the hegemon level of the Universal Realm S. Awesome. Immediately, Long Fei immediately shut down the system and once again released corrupt Ghost Hand. Ding. System notification. Proficiency plus 100 points. It was strange. In the Ming clan's imprint space, Long Fei could only cultivate this rotten Ghost Hand. What was even more shocking was that this set of method had no cooldown time in this space. In other words, Long Fei could release countless of moves in a row. Ming clan mark. Could it be that the Ghost Emperor is also a descendant of the Ming clan? Can't be. Didn't Yurong say that most of the Ming clan died? Why would the gods tribe tolerate an overlord like the Ghost Emperor staying in the Universal Realm? Long Fei was suspicious, but forgot about it in the next second. What Ghost Emperor? What Ming clan? What God's tribe? Long Fei did not want to think too much into such a mess. Who cares about their relationship? What he wanted to do now was to train his corrupt ghost claw to the first level, level 1 Ghost Emperor. Even if it wasn't strong, it would at least give Long Fei a bit more power. Would the Ghost Emperor not be strong? Release. Ding. System notification. Proficiency plus 100 points. Release. Ding. System notification. Proficiency plus 100 points. For an entire night, Long Fei did not stop in the space imprint. Proficiency's skill leveled up crazily. At the same time, Long Fei was also crazily absorbing the power of Nether. Just that. Even after an entire night had passed, his body still did not contain any remnants of power of Nether. All of them had been swallowed by the Spring of Life, and the serious injuries caused by the Spring of Life were almost healed. Regarding these, Long Fei did not care. What he wanted was not the power of Nether. Even if his entire body was filled with this power, he did not know how to release it. What he wanted was the proficiency. The sky turned white in the east. Not long later, the fiery red sun slowly rose into the sky. The sun in the desert was not gentle at all. As soon as it appeared, the temperature rapidly rose, and the desert seemed to be on fire again. The scorching heat was crazily eroding. Long Fei's mouth was dry and was about to peel off. He didn't care. Ding. System notification. Proficiency plus 100 points. Ding. Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for cultivating the skill Corrupt Ghost Claw to level up. Currently, level 1, the next level requires 800,000 proficiency. Seeing that long string of numbers, Long Fei felt dizzy. Hearing the sound of skills leveling up, Long Fei instantly came out of the space. He stayed in place for one more second, to the point where he felt that he would puke if he used it once. That kind of boring training was too uncomfortable. It was a kind of torture. Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath and looked at the rotten ghost hand in the system skill bar. He was now able to summon a level 1 Ghost Emperor, but it was just that. He didn't know if he could release it from the Ming clan's space. He didn't dare to try. He was worried that the cooldown time would be very long. Hiss, 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 hiss. The ear-piercing hissing sound of a poisonous snake continuously rang beside Long Fei's ears. Long Fei retracted his idea and opened his eyes to look. Holy **T. A large field. They surrounded Long Fei as if he was their mother, and Long Fei was their father. Isn't this too much? They could be seen all over the valley, which made their scalps tingle. Alien Queen was still spawning. Only his expression was much dimmer than last night. This was because the energy of the Grand Mist Crystal was nearly exhausted. Long Fei stood still. All the alien demons raised their heads and looked at him. Long Fei clenched both his fists. He was extremely excited. With just these, I can sweep across the entire continent, and this mere savage desert. Your father will not be able to do anything. Immediately, Long Fei moved and said straightforwardly, Children, listen to my orders. Target right in front, 20 kilometers away. Charge. Let them experience what it means to destroy everything. Let them experience what it means to launch a sneak attack. Long Fei was in high spirits, extremely bold and powerful, because everything in front of him was too awesome. The tens of thousands of alien demons were like demons that had been released from hell. With Long Fei's order, they rushed out crazily. It was like a black cloud sweeping across the ground. Long Fei glanced at Kai Lina, but he did not see any trace of her. She might have gone to investigate, so Long Fei did not have time to care. So he quickly rushed out. Kong Kim, You have to live for me. You touched my brother and hurt my woman. Today, even if you are the king of hell, I will still kill you." Long Fei quickly rushed forward like a bolt of lightning. Rumble! 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 The ground shook and sand rolled. A few minutes later, Long Fei stood at a high place and looked at a deep canyon. The two sides of the canyon were filled with various kinds of caves, and in the center of the canyon, there was a gigantic altar. Floating in the air above the altar, sensing the appearance of the alien demons, a head popped out of the caves. One of them, the head of a golden giant, peeked out from the biggest cave. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. "From the Ma-Lugo?" Long Fei's heart was instantly enraged. "I've finally found you." The alien demons surrounding the two sides of the canyon became even more ferocious, along with the fury that was 30,000 meters deep in Long Fei's heart. Long Fei took out his Ju-Kei broken sword and shouted loudly, Kill them all," recommended Brother Lin Feng's book. The equals, cities equals, exquisite equals, fairy equals, doctor equals. Like it? I'll support it. Thank you. Chapter 24-28. Ancient City. Chapter 24-28. Ancient City was already in a bad mood from the sneak attack. But there was nothing he could do. These desert giant scorpion were hidden in the sand, and you couldn't sense them at all. It was Long Fei's turn. Assault. The aliens' demon army rushed into the canyon like a tide, just like a pack of released wolves. Hiss, hiss. Rumble. Awoo. In less than half a minute, the caves on both sides of the canyon were occupied by the alien demons, and each of the caves released the cries of desert giant scorpion. At the same time, ding, 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 the system beeped crazily. EXP bar. One word, cool. Long Fei was extremely excited. Although he had seen the brutality of the alien demons before, at that time they were still his targets, and now he was the one giving orders. This feeling was completely different. They were not afraid of death, nor any attacks. Even if they met an opponent who was 10,000 times stronger than them, they would not be afraid. They would just charge forward. It was a repulsive act. Scared? It did not exist. This was what made Long Fei the most excited about the alien demons. He would never show mercy to his enemies, nor would he show mercy to himself. It took them only a few minutes to completely occupy the canyon. Over 100 desert giant scorpions were reduced to wreckage, and the alien demons had already eaten them to the point that not even their bones were left. Finally, Long Fei's gaze darkened as he stared at the golden giant. Boom! Long Fei leaped up and then descended from the sky, directly landing at the golden giant's cave entrance, staring at the incomparably huge golden giant. Long Fei roared angrily, "Where's my brother? Hand it over to me." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, Long Fei's angry roar made all the alien demons tremble. The instant he landed on the ground, they were all rushed to his side and emitted hissing sounds towards the golden giant inside the cave. The golden giant felt a trace of fear. The aura emitted by the alien goblin was extremely terrifying. However, it did not retreat, but looked coldly at Long Fei. Suddenly, the golden giant's tail was like a heavenly hook suddenly shooting out, piercing towards Long Fei's back. As long as it pierced into his body, he would immediately be caught and then dragged into the deep hole. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. The alien demons also let out strange cries. Long Fei's right hand moved. Wong! The Ju-Kei broken sword landed in his hands with a move before the bent hook could land on the ground. Long Fei struck horizontally. Break for me. Shwa! With the surging of his true essence, the Ju-Kei sword shined with a red light. Although the universal realm was unable to unleash its full power, it was still able to unleash 1% of its full power. The sword chopped down. The golden giant's tail was immediately chopped in half. Woo! At this moment, the golden giant's body was trembling crazily, and it screamed in pain. Dark green liquid gushed out of its wound crazily. The pain was unbearable. The golden giant was also shrinking crazily. When its tail was chopped off, Long Fei heard the voice of a system beep in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining golden giant tail. Zichen glanced at the stats. Long Fei's heart trembled. Is the immortal stage's spirit grass level something? The scorpion's tail was highly toxic. At the same time, it was also a type of alchemy item, and as long as it was used properly, it could be used to refine top-quality pellets. This kind of immortal stage was even more rare. Good stuff. In the past month, this was the first time Long Fei had gotten his hands on an immortal stage spirit grass. It was still unable to completely determine its attribute, and might even be the antidote for Yi Yorong's everlasting burning sword poison. Whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk the golden giant fled into the darkness at the rear of the circle. Without Long Fei's order, the alien demon did not dare to move. However, they were all making hissing sounds. Long Fei recovered his expression and said, "Go in after it, maintain a distance, and slowly play it to death." As soon as he finished, the alien demons surged forward like a tide, as Long Fei also walked into the deep and dark cave. That, the undying demon that Kai Lina mentioned, had not appeared yet. Golden Giant is indeed a little boss, but it was definitely not the undying demon that Kai Lina had mentioned. There must be a big boss hidden in this canyon. F***CK. You dare to provoke Lousy. I'll kill you in one go. Long Fei said fiercely. Following the road behind the golden giant, the cave was like a mountain road with 18 bends and 18 bends. They kept circling around, as if there was no end to it. The alien demon was getting impatient. He wanted nothing more than to tear the golden giant apart with his bare hands. As Long Fei walked, he also observed along the way, and discovered that they were moving downwards all the way around a large mountain. To be exact, it was a huge pillar. Taiju. There were various totems on the iron pillars. People, monsters, and their gods of faith. Could this be the ancient Sand Moon tribe that Princess Sand Moon spoke of? They used 100,000 years to extinguish the heaven flames, and during that time, they also created the god of faith in their hearts. Only heaven fire didn't warn them enough, and they had indeed created it using the power of the heavenly fire, but not a god, but a nightmare. Long Fei roughly guessed the meaning of the pattern on the metal pillar. He was not interested in these things. He wanted brothers. What he wanted was the task. The other items were the boss experience and treasure. As for the Sand Moon, Tribe S, Long Fei was not the least bit interested in them. It did not matter if they were from the ancient refining clan or some other race. It did not matter to him at all. The only thing of interest to him was the iron box containing the heaven flame. At this moment, the golden giant suddenly stopped. It was also at this time. Long Fei looked at the last section of the metal pillar, and his brows tightened. This demon, if it was combined with the heaven flame, it could burn away the power of the plane and turn the plane into a desert. Damn, he's overpowered my bro. The diagram depicted the sacrificial altar that was previously floating in the air above the gorge. It was as if he was using the altar to release the power of the heaven flame. A bit too awesome. Long Fei felt around the black iron box within the space ring and muttered, "Could it be that the heavenly fire inside can be released if it's me who releases it, then? Am I the one who killed all the demon beast in the entire plane, then is my experience from breaking through the heavens. Wow. Long Fei's thoughts were always weird. Others were worried about the danger, but he was incomparably excited. Suddenly, the golden giant revealed a sinister look. In the blink of an eye, it had grown a new tail. It was a purplish black, a tail that was even higher ranked than its current one. Moreover, I finally found you. The golden giant suddenly spoke. Welcome to my world. As soon as he finished speaking, boom, a boundary barrier opened up and a huge city appeared in front of them. One ancient city. Chapter 24-29, Fatal Weaknesses. Chapter 24-29, Fatal Weaknesses. Just like the Imperial City, it was a grand scene that stretched as far as the eye could see. Long Fei was dumbstruck. In his previous life, the top 4 King Kong cities in the north should have been pretty impressive, right? But compared to the person in front of him, he was completely incompetent. Moreover, this was a building from ancient China. Every building, every detail was meticulously designed. And the most important thing was that the entire city didn't seem to be made of ordinary building materials, but a special kind of metal. The entire city was filled with a domineering aura. It was like a flame. It was like tempering with 10,000 flames. It was like being in a huge furnace. Long Fei was shocked. This guy is such a scammer. The golden giant spoke again. Give me the heaven flames on you, and this city will rule over the entire continent. I will be the emperor, and you will be the general who commands everything. Very confident. The golden giant's voice was filled with confidence. He believed that no one would reject such a condition, other than the stubborn Sand Moon tribe. Sky Fire. Long Fei secretly tensed up, as expected. And then Long Fei smiled, faintly. I don't like to be subservient to others. How about this? I am the emperor, and you are a slave. How dare you? Rumble. A voice boomed from all directions, and an immense wave of pressure engulfed the area. Long Fei's mind tightened. His entire body was engulfed in this pressure, feeling incomparable discomfort. The alien demons behind him also cried out in pain, but even they could not resist. The golden giant said solemnly, You are just a lowly human. Who do you think you are, to dare say such words to me? If this was in the past, you would already be a corpse. Very contemptuous. Disdain. Similarly, the power it released was unstoppable. Logically speaking, Long Fei should have arranged it. However, he was exceptionally excited in his heart. I'm at the 9th level of the refinement realm, and his pressure is actually making me feel as if I can't hold on any longer. Wow, this boss is not simple. Explode him. Long Fei was a madman. Scared? It doesn't exist. However, this golden giant was only a parasitic body, and the boss was not on the golden giant. Thus, it was very easy to make that boss sacrifice its life. What is lousy? I'm your father. Suddenly, Long Fei's footsteps moved. The Ju-Kei broken sword in his hands dragged the ground, and flames flew in all directions. The thick Ju-Kei sword aura gushed out. The golden giant's eyes darkened. You overestimate yourself. Shwa. The tip of the tail split into 3, as if 3 heavenly hooks, as they directly hooked towards Long Fei the moment he moved. This time, their speed was extremely fast, and they didn't even wait for him to react. Crack! The poisonous hook drew sparks on the rock wall, and the 3 hooks came down at the same time. Long Fei smirked and said coldly, Not enough to see. Fairy from heaven. Shwa. In the next moment, his figure disappeared. From midair, he rushed down, and the flying immortal sword intent descended like a hurricane towards the golden giant's head. Boom! Ju-Kei was like a nail, firmly nailing the golden giant's head to the ground. Green liquid gushed out. The gash on its head also disappeared with a swoosh. Ninth level of the spirit refinement realm. How can you just mess around? With Long Fei's current cultivation, it would be easy for him to deal with these demon beasts. Do you know who I am now? Your father is the one who wants your life. Long Fei said arrogantly as he stepped heavily on the golden giant's head, killing it with his sword. You want to talk back to me? I can't kill you. However, at this moment, his health bar, which had originally been at its lowest, was once again fully restored. At the same time, sand immediately surged out from the wounds on the golden giant's head. The sand was a purplish gold color, and in that instant, the 3 poisonous hooks did not stop attacking. It directly aimed at the back of Long Fei's head. A group of people suddenly appeared. Long Fei tensed up. The Ju K broken sword did not even have the time to pull it out, and directly rolled down from the golden giant's body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, 3 hooks flew across the skin at the back of his head. Long Fei was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. It was also at this time the golden giant came to life again and stood up, staring at Long Fei with even more sinister eyes. Shwa! The Ju K broken sword was forcefully pulled out from the head, and the golden giant seemed to not be able to feel the pain. The sword is not bad, but yet you are unable to unleash its power. He suddenly threw it out. Shwa! The Ju K broken sword flew into the distance. Long Fei stared at the golden giant and muttered, "Undying." The golden giant's face was no longer the same as before. He stared at Long Fei and said, "I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the heavenly fire, and I'll grant you an eternal life." Just like this golden giant. Long Fei was displeased and asked, "An immortal life? Ha ha! There is no such thing as absolute immortality in this world, nor is there any such thing as absolute immortality. Let alone God. Even a plane like the universal realm will have the day of destruction. The immortality that you speak of, it's just deceiving yourself." Long Fei's voice sunk as the idea ordered, "Alien demon, attack." Water element. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One after another, the alien demons shot out. Amongst them, Long Fei had also followed closely behind, pulling out the sky sword that he hadn't used for a long time. Not since that time. The golden giant's eyes turned sinister as he said solemnly, "Foolish human, go and die." Boom. The golden giant suddenly opened its mouth and started to swallow. Endless suction. Long Fei couldn't control his own body, and he didn't want to control it either. You want to swallow this, Daddy? That depends on whether you have such strong teeth. The alien demons were the same. He didn't move to the side, and instead pounced even more crazily. Moreover, when they were attacking, release all of their power. Boom, boom, boom. Every time the water attribute alien demon was hit, especially when it hit the golden giant's wound, it would deal a ton of damage. Long Fei looked carefully and thought to himself, it can't really be the kind of fruit like the sand crocodile in One Piece, right? Who cares what you are? If the boss encounters me, I will die. The sky sword in Long Fei's hand moved, surging with true essence. The sky sword did not show any strange light. It should not have recovered. Long Fei was too lazy to think too much about it. He stabbed his sword towards the place where the water attribute alien spirit demon was attacking him, and his true essence erupted. The sword pierced through, and Long Fei also roared out loud, "Explode for me!" Boom! The golden giant exploded as if it was made of sand. This time, it did not revive. At the same time, the system beeped. Ding! Long Fei laughed excitedly. As expected, its weakness is the same as the sand crocodile's. Ha ha! Kids, charge! Crush them to smithereens. Chapter 2430, Directly Entering Large Techniques. Chapter 2430, Directly Entering Large Techniques. If there was water, it would hit and cause damage. This was the sand crocodile's weakness. Long Fei had only tried it. He did not expect it to be like this as well. As long as he grabbed hold of this weakness, he wouldn't die. Even if you don't die, I will beat you until you die. Following Long Fei's order, the alien demon army madly rushed into the ancient city. It wouldn't be long before they could finish off the boss. Ha ha ha! Long Fei laughed out loud. You are ridiculing this daddy. Let's see how you will mock me again. In the air above ancient city, a huge figure descended. His entire body was covered in sand, and his body looked like it was made of sand. Sandy Man? His skeleton eyes stared at Long Fei and said coldly, Do you think that you can use these bugs to deal with me? Ha ha ha. Brat, you're underestimating me. As soon as he finished, Sandy Man's empty eyes suddenly widened. Boom! The entire ancient city began to burn like the fires of hell. The alien demons that were rushing out could not hold on for more than half a second and instantly turned into ashes, killed in an instant. More than 10,000 alien demons. In an instant, it disappeared. Long Fei's gaze tensed up, his heart secretly surging. Too damn strong. Strong performance. At this moment, Kai Lina suddenly dropped down, grabbing onto Long Fei, and said, Let's go. He spread his wings. Shwa! Rushing out of the surface. In the blink of an eye, he was already 10 kilometers away. If he had been even a second slower, Long Fei might have died. Seeing Long Fei disappear, Sandy Man let out a wild roar. Chase after him. Kid, if you don't want to see your friend, that beast, die. Then hand over the heaven flame. The Sandy Man let out a voice, and the voice immediately drilled into Long Fei's mind. At this moment, an image appeared in Long Fei's mind, an image of a Transformers being hung by dozens of sand chains. F***CK. Long Fei was instantly enraged. It was also at this time Kai Lina put Long Fei down. Long Fei did not stop at all. He turned and flew towards the direction of the canyon. Those who hurt my brothers will die. Kai Lina also quickly blocked Long Fei's path and said, That monster doesn't die. As long as it doesn't die in the desert, you won't be able to save Kong Kim at all. Long Fei said, Even if I can't, I have to. I don't believe that there is an immortal body in this world. Besides, I found its weakness. Kai Lina immediately said, Are you talking about water? You're wrong. The power of water cannot even get close to him. Even if you know the water attribution technique, in Flame City, you won't be able to release it. The water attribution technique might be useful. However, if your cultivation cannot surpass the Sandy Man, then your water attribution technique will not be able to suppress her. Moreover, the ancient city had incomparably blazing flames within it, and those flames could very possibly be the heavenly fire from back then. Water was useless there. It would be evaporated in an instant, just like those water attribute alien demons. The more water attribution died, the faster he would die. Even if the water attribution is useless, I still have a way to deal with him. Long Fei could not bear the torment his brother was going through. Kai Lina asked, What method do you have? You can't handle him. Long Fei, I know that you treat Kong Kim as a brother, and I also treat him as a friend. But have you thought about it? You will die. Long Fei said, So what if I die? After living for so long, I have never been afraid of death. Get out of my way, Kai Lina said. I promised Immortal Master Lu Yuan that I would protect you, and I can't let you die. If you want to go. Kai Lina looked at Long Fei and said, It's also my turn. She knew that she couldn't stop Long Fei. Since that was the case, she would replace Long Fei. Kai Lina said, "My speed is very fast. Wait for me here. After saving Kong Kim, I will immediately come here to meet up with you." Finished. Without waiting for Long Fei's consent, Kai Lina flapped his wings and instantly disappeared. Long Fei looked at the direction she disappeared in, and in the next second, he sprinted like he was flying, once again charging towards the canyon. Fuck, how can I let a woman do everything for me? I'm a man. How can I let my woman take the risk? Not to mention, Kai Lina had fought with Sandy Man yesterday and was heavily injured. This time, Sandy Man would never let Kai Lina escape again. Rumble. 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 The canyon rumbled. Kai Lina had already killed his way in. Long Fei frowned. Silly woman. Speed up. A few minutes later, Long Fei once again rushed into the canyon. He landed on the altar that was floating in midair and directly jumped off the altar. The ground sank. A huge crater appeared. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I knew you would come back. You humans are really too stupid. Ha ha. Sensing Long Fei's aura, Sandy Man excitedly laughed. At this moment, Kai Lina was also tied up by a dozen or so sand chains and landed in the air above the ancient city. Transformers, Kai Lina, Princess Sand Moon, and the other Sand Moon people were all suspended in midair, enduring the hot air flames that were being emitted from the ground. Blood trickled from the corner of Kai Lina's mouth as he looked at Long Fei and said, "Quick, quick, let's go." "Leave." "Wahaha. Do you think you can leave now?" Sandy Man laughed out loud. With a move of his hands, a gold light flashed out from the sand around him. Buzz. 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 Several voices sounded in quick succession, as if a heavy stone door had closed. It was also at this moment a thick barrier had appeared over the ancient city, sprinkling golden sand. Sandy Man laughed. "Turtle in a jar. Lowly ant, now you still have the chance to kneel down in front of me. Submit to me and give me the heavenly fire on your body. I will still grant you eternal life." Sandy Man was high and mighty, with a disdainful sneer on his face. Now, he controlled everything. Long Fei would never be able to escape. However, Long Fei never even thought of escaping. Long Fei looked at the Sandy Man in midair and said, "I'll give you a chance. Let them go, and I'll let you die painlessly. Remember, this is your only chance." Sandy Man laughed sinisterly. "Do you know where we are? This is the world that I have created. Here, I am the king, including your little life." Long Fei said, "Is that so? Then let's see who can control whose little life." The anger in Long Fei's heart churned. "If I don't kill you, I won't be named Long. F***CK. Ghost Emperor Legacy. Rotten Ghost Claw. Ghost Emperor, come out." Long Fei did not stop at all. He did not want to stop for even half a second, and immediately used his ultimate move. If life or death seemed indifferent, then it was time to do it. The Ghost Emperor controlled life and death. Let's see who can control whose life and death. Rumble. The air exploded as a ferocious black shadow slowly drilled out from the space. Level 1, Ghost Emperor. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2431. Explosive Boss. Chapter 2431. Explosive Boss. The gates of hell opened, revealing a hideous face. It was impossible to describe just what was slowly crawling out from within. In an instant, the surrounding aura suddenly changed. Ghastly figures filled the entire ancient city. Sandy Man's gaze tensed up, seeing something that slowly crawled out of the dark space. His expression also secretly became shocked. "What is this?" "Never seen it." Long Fei felt the chi on the level 1 Ghost Emperor's body. His blood was boiling as he said, excitedly, "This is the thing that wants your life." Buzz. With a hum, the Ghost Emperor crawled out of the darkness, a black dagger in his hand. His eyes were empty. An aura of death permeated his entire body. It was like a death god that controlled life and death. However, the feeling Long Fei got was that this guy was much stronger than the god of death. Sandy Man's eyes darkened as he said coldly, "I told you before, this is the world that I created. I am the king here, and I am an immortal existence." As soon as he finished, Sandy Man moved his hands. Walala, walala. Endless amounts of sand gushed out like a fountain. Bam, bam. It shot up from the ground and surrounded the level 1 Ghost Emperor, forming a cage. The Sandy Man laughed coldly, just as he was laughing, and said gleefully, "Graveyard, boom. Die for me." The sand surrounding the Ghost Emperor, 8 sands suddenly directly pounced towards the Ghost suddenly Emperor, burst wrapping around him. And in an instant, Sandy Man landed in front of Sandy Man, laughed sinisterly. In that instant, 5 fingers, the Ghost Emperor directly stabbed his hand into Sandy Man's abdomen. The sand that was wrapping around with the Ghost thrust of his hand suddenly shrunk. Shwa. Kacha, crack, kacha, as if grabbing onto the Sandy Man's ribs. It sounded like the sound of bones breaking. At this moment, the sand was continuously Sandy Man squeezed. Immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. He suspected that he was already ugly to behold. He could feel the power, not waiting for a response. It was the Ghost Emperor's body at the bottom of the ocean, 10,000 meters Sandy Man's abdomen, and it would explode in an pile of sand. Long Fei's which was stained with blood. Just how strong was the Ghost Emperor? Blood. He did not know if he could withstand the attacks, as if his ribs were broken, and his internal organs were forcibly pulled out. This was also the first time it was incomparably the rotten ghost hand on the top of his head. The level 1 Ghost Emperor bloody groove was crazily dropping. His previous attack had reached 1,000,000 points of damage. If even a level 1 Ghost Emperor Long Fei's eyes flashed, as he said excitedly, Long Fei could only wait for death. Ha ha, kid. Just you dare be so arrogant for lousy. In my opinion, it's just the trash now. Long Fei was completely excited. Out loud. The power that the Ghost Emperor had displayed was too strong. It was the same no matter if it was speed or power. It exploded in an instant. Sandy Man's eyes darkened. Simply could not react. It's not that bad, right? Sandy Man laughed complacently. His fists clenched. What other tricks do you have? His 2 empty eyes staring straight as long as you stop being trash. His hands formed blades that pierced towards the Ghost Emperor. Because Long Fei frowned. He could feel the Ghost Emperor of the heavenly fire. So he didn't mind accompanying Long and instantly changed his speed. However, Shwa. He landed right behind Sandy Man and moved his left hand. The black energy directly pierced into the head of the Sandy Man. Sandy Man's entire body trembled, and he released a violent cry of pain. The entire ancient city was trembling. It was incomparably terrifying. Shwa. The Ghost Emperor ferociously dug again, causing the Sandy Man to shake so badly that half of his head was gone. The blood on the top of his head fell once more. Sandy Man continued to retreat explosively. His entire body was shaking uncontrollably. Long Fei said, "Ha ha ha. I'm just going to ask you, who's the F** king trash right now?" "Who's the trash?" Sandy Man said in a gloomy voice. "I will kill you. I will tear you into 10,000 pieces." Boom! Sandy Man instantly exploded out, and his body instantly transformed into billions of grains of sand. In the air, a strong wind blew, and he rushed towards Long Fei. The Ghost Emperor was summoned by Long Fei. As long as he killed Long Fei, the Ghost Emperor would naturally disappear. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. What the F***K? Ghost Emperor. The idea moved. Didn't know how to deal with the billions of grains of sand, and he also didn't know what kind of power was contained within them. However, the Ghost Emperor was very clear. Following the movement of Long Fei's idea, the Ghost Emperor directly landed in front of Long Fei. His hand slightly formed a seal. In the blink of an eye, A sharp light flashed in the black pupils of the Ghost Emperor. At the same time, he rushed forward and grabbed at the air with his left hand. Boom, 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 boom. The trillions of grains of sand in the air instantly condensed, as if bound by a powerful force. At this time, the Ghost Emperor's left hand grabbed onto Sandy Man's throat. Sandy Man's face changed as he continued to struggle, but was unable to break free. Long Fei exclaimed in his heart once again, "Ghost Emperor, awesome!" In that moment, grabbing onto Sandy Man's throat in an instant showed how powerful he was. Now, Long Fei was relieved. As long as the Ghost Emperor was here, a mere Sandy Man was nothing. He could easily cause a ruckus. Moreover, he made a very big decision in his heart. Even if it was even more unbearable than eating Xiang, he still wanted to cultivate Rotten Ghost Hand to the highest level. The level 1 Ghost Emperor was so powerful. What about the level 9 Ghost Emperor? What about the divine level Ghost Emperor? How strong would it be? Long Fei was really looking forward to it. Boom! The Ghost Emperor grabbed Sandy Man's throat and smashed him down from the sky, pressing him down onto the ground. With a movement of his right hand, he raised the black stinger into the air. To the heart of Sandy Man, he pierced down fiercely. Long Fei's heart trembled. It's going to explode. Chapter 2432, Phantom Emperor Mutation. Chapter 2432, Phantom Emperor Mutation. It's going to explode. Ha ha ha. It's going to explode soon. The black spike in the Ghost Emperor's hand was like a sharp black stone. It was always in his hand. He was definitely waiting for the right moment. Now, the time had come. This attack was definitely going to take Sandy Man's life. Long Fei could not hold it in anymore. He was excited in his heart. "You're not going to die? Even if I don't die, I'll kill you. Ha ha ha. Explode for me." He let out a loud roar. The black spear in the Ghost Emperor's hand pierced down heavily. The Sandy Man let out a ferocious scream. "No, no, don't." Ah. The black spike fell down, and like a coffin nail, it nailed the Sandy Man's heart down to the ground. At the same time, the blood on top of Sandy Man's had suddenly turned into 0. This strike. Instant kill. Long Fei saw that his HP had dropped to 0, and his heart was boiling with excitement. Ha ha! Acting cool to me? This is the result. Bring it on. A massive drop, right? This awesome boss should be able to drop some good items, right? Ha ha ha. Wait. Right at this moment, Long Fei directly took out a double experience scroll from the space ring and crushed it. Ding. System notification. Double experience has been unlocked. Time. 180 seconds. That's even better. Ha ha ha. Long Fei prepared everything and waited quietly, but he did not. After waiting for a full 10 seconds, the system had no reaction. There were no prompts. Nothing dropped. Nothing. Long Fei's heart became heavy. Walking to the Ghost Emperor's side, looking at the slowly withering Sandy Man on the ground, Long Fei ruthlessly stomped his foot down. F***CK. Explode for me. Walala. With one kick, Sandy Man's head exploded. It was also at this moment, Sandy Man's body seemed to have turned into a pile of sand. A gentle breeze blew, causing sand to swirl in the air. All that was left was a human shaped of sand, and nothing else. Long Fei's heart tightened as he exclaimed in his heart, "Not good." At this time, the Ghost Emperor raised his eyes and stared at a spot in the sky. Wahaha! Fierce, terrifying, and savage laughter. "I'm not going to die. This is my world. No one can kill me." Sandy Man appeared again, and the aura on his body was extremely dense, without the slightest hint of injury. The health bar on his head was also full. Long Fei's heart tightened. Not die? He thought about what Kai Lina had said. No matter how they fought, they wouldn't die. Impossible. There is no one in this world who can escape the life and death law. Even the King of Hell, who controls the law of death, is the same. Long Fei firmly believed that there was no such thing as an absolute immortality. He just couldn't find his weakness. Long Fei's eyes narrowed and said, "Ghost Emperor." Shua. The Ghost Emperor charged forward and disappeared in the blink of an eye. In the next second, he was right in front of Sandy Man. Without giving him any time to react, a strong force directly crushed him down from the sky. Boom! He pressed down on the ground once more and fiercely thrust the black spike in his hand. Rumble! Ah! Sandy Man let out another blood-curdling screech. The bloody wound on his head had hit the bottom again, and his entire body had stiffened, died again. But in the next second, a clump of sand congealed in midair. Sandy Man appeared once again, laughing sinisterly. "Ha ha ha! You want to kill me? No one can. Kid, a lowly human like you, if the monster you summoned didn't have some power, you would have been a dried corpse long time ago. However, the monster you summoned can't stay here for too long. When it disappears, it will be your death. Don't worry. I won't let you become a desiccated corpse. I'm going to skin you. I'm going to inject sand into your veins. I'm going to make you suffer for your entire life." Sandy Man laughed crazily. At the same time, he was also furious. He couldn't find a way to deal with the Ghost Emperor. However, he was very clear that these summon monsters all had a fatal weakness, and that was the time limit. As long as the Ghost Emperor's time passed, he would rule the world. Long Fei's heart tightened. The Sandy Man was right. The Ghost Emperor was not his beast. It was just a product of cultivating a cultivation technique. To a certain level, it could be said to be a beast summoning. There is a time limit. Moreover, right now, more than half of the time had already passed, and it was about time for the Ghost Emperor to disappear. At that time, Long Fei frowned. If you want to kill him, you must find his weakness, Sand's weakness. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a light as he said excitedly, "Water!" Just now, killing the golden giant was also using water. As long as there was water, the sand would not turn into sand and split apart. As long as there was water, the Sandy Man's life soul would be locked inside his body, and he would be sucked dry. And then Long Fei moved. Walking up to the Ghost Emperor, holding onto the black thorn in one hand, he slashed fiercely. Fresh blood dripped out, wrapping around the black spike. However, the moment Long Fei's blood flowed out, the Ghost Emperor, who did not have much of an expression on his face, was suddenly startled. His body couldn't help but tremble. It was as if he was afraid. Fear. At the same time, he seemed excited. Long Fei did not notice. Compared to before, the Ghost Emperor was beginning to look different. "Humph!" The Sandy Man snorted and said, "Useless trash! Do you think your blood is water? Do you think you can kill me like this? You are too naive." He was not finished. The Ghost Emperor suddenly rose up from the ground. Shua. It was as if he had received a strong stimulus, as if he was enraged. Even Long Fei was a little confused. However, when the Ghost Emperor suddenly became strong, Long Fei became even more excited. In an instant, the Ghost Emperor landed in front of Sandy Man, and like a black hole, he glared at him. a boundless pressure, and boundless rage, instantly crushed the Sandy Man to the point that he couldn't move at all. Sandy Man's expression became incomparably terrified, as if he had seen the most terrifying thing in the world. Trembling. His heart trembled. His sea of consciousness was trembling. In front of the Ghost Emperor, the Sandy Man was suddenly as small as a grain of sand. Not in the beginning, but now suddenly. You can't imagine what happened. Long Fei was also a little confused. Logically speaking, the Ghost Emperor was affected by the level change, and the higher his level was, the stronger his power would be. However, he was still a level 1 Ghost Emperor, so his power should not have any changes. Why? How did the moment I touched Long Fei's blood, it would become like this? Long Fei's blood gave him strength? No. Long Fei's blood Ghost Emperor did not absorb it, and his power would not change. But why was there a mutation? The blood was definitely because of the blood, but why on earth? What did the Ghost Emperor sense from Long Fei's blood? At this moment, Long Fei did not have time to think about this. Kill him. Chapter 2433, Fusion of Heavenly Flames. Chapter 2433, Fusion of Heavenly Flames. Who cares why the Ghost Emperor changed his mind? What Long Fei wanted was to explode. It was all thanks to the boss experience. As for those things he didn't understand, he didn't want to waste his time thinking about them. Kill him! Kill him! Long Fei screamed with all his might, because immediately the time to summon the Ghost Emperor arrived. If he did not kill him now, then Long Fei would be the one to die immediately. He gave the order. The Ghost Emperor did not stop at all. The black thorn in his hand brought with it Long Fei's fresh blood as he stabbed towards the Sandy Man. Long Fei's eyes lit up. He became excited. That should be fine, right? Rumble! Rumble was crushed from the air as he fell. His eyes were filled with fear as his body trembled, and he continuously bellowed, "No, no, no!" Bang! His body fell heavily to the ground, creating a deep crater. Without waiting for Sandy Man to get up from the ground, the Ghost Emperor thrusted the black thorn in his hand downwards. With a heavy voice, he uttered, "Die?" This was the first time the Ghost Emperor spoke up. Long Fei was startled. You can talk? Why didn't you say anything at the start? He didn't think too much about it, because right now he was at his most nervous, and the fact that Sandy Man was so terrified showed that he was extremely afraid, which meant that this strike could definitely take his life. As Long Fei watched with wide eyes, he became more and more anxious in his heart. Quick, 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 quick. Time. It was too late. The black thorn in the Ghost Emperor's hand pierced down. Sandy Man's body suddenly shot out, releasing a sound as if he was howling from hell. At this moment, a system announcement suddenly sounded out in Long Fei's mind. Ding! System notification. The time for the Ghost Emperor to summon you has ended. Long Fei's gaze tensed up as he cursed, F***CK. Because at this moment, the black thorn in the Ghost Emperor's hand did not pierce into Sandy Man's heart completely. It only pierced down by 1/3, and the blood on the top of Sandy Man's head had been cut off by 1/3. The time to summon the Ghost Emperor had come. In the next moment, all of the power in its body would disappear, and its body would be left in the void of darkness by the seal. The instant the system beep landed, Long Fei's eyes darkened. System, you trashy person, damn your ancestors. Give them 1 more second. 1 second was enough for the Ghost Emperor to kill Sandy Man. But a time limit was a time limit, let alone a second. The system would not even give him a time limit of 1/1,000,000th of a second because the system was an AI. Simply put, he was a program. There would be no emotions in it. As time passed, the figure of the Ghost Emperor started to turn into a blur, and all the power in his body had already disappeared. But the black thorn that had pierced Sandy Man's heart did not completely disappear. Long Fei didn't care so much. The strength of the 9th level of the spirit refinement realm was fully unleashed to its peak, and also at this moment, arrogant god energy value explode for me. Boom. The power of a god of berserkers was superimposed. Long Fei immediately displayed his strength to his peak condition. He took a step forward. In a flash, it landed right on top of Sandy Man's heart area and struck down fiercely. Die! As long as the black thorns pierced through Sandy Man's heart, he would definitely die this time. Now, was only a tiny bit away from Sandy Man's death. Long Fei's fists were like hammers smashing down. It was just a little bit away, just a little bit more. However, after the Sandy Man let out a painful howl, he felt that the strong power had not all fallen down. His eyes darkened, and seeing that the body of the Ghost Emperor had turned into an illusion and a black spatial vortex had appeared behind the Ghost Emperor's back, his eyes darkened as he laughed maniacally. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! Is the summoning time over? Is it my turn now? Laughter. He felt a sense of excitement, as if he had narrowly escaped death. However, his heart was in extreme pain, seeing Long Fei being smashed down so heavily, Sandy Man's eyes grew sinister. Trash with just you? Boom. His right hand moved, and sand rolled on his palm. Not waiting for Long Fei to fall, a lump of sand directly knocked Long Fei flying. Boom. Long Fei was flung hundreds of meters away and fell to the ground, blood leaking from his mouth. He felt displeased. He sprung up from the ground and looked at Sandy Man, who was slowly getting up from the ground, and his heart secretly sank. This is bad. Ah! Sandy Man roared. He used his hand to grab the black thorn and pulled it out. Ah! Another series of painful cries rang out. The instant the black thorn was pulled out, a dark green liquid gushed out crazily. At this time, the surrounding sand was also crazily filling up the gap. Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Sandy Man took a deep breath. Looking at the Ghost Emperor, who was about to be sucked into the void, his gaze shifted to Long Fei. His eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. You want to kill me? Lowly ant. Now, I will let you live in torment for all eternity. Sandstorm, rise. He lowered both of his hands and made a grabbing motion towards the ground. 2 sandstorm winds rose up, and he raised both of his hands. Boom. The sandstorm had turned into a hurricane and was constantly making choices, causing everything around it to tremble. Long Fei was unable to stand steadily, and his body was constantly moving, as if he was about to be swept up into the storm by the 2 sandstorms. What should I do? The Ghost Emperor was about to disappear. He could no longer rely on it. Right now, Long Fei could only rely on himself. His mind began to race. If, the instant before the Ghost Emperor was engulfed by the darkness of the void, a voice resounded in his mind, "Heaven flames! Sky fire!" Long Fei looked at the disappeared Ghost Emperor. Sky fire can kill Sandy Man. Sky fire is of the fire attribute. Sandy Man's weakness should be in water attributions attacks. The fire attribute can't be dealt with. Actually, Long Fei did not know what kind of power was contained in his fresh blood. Sandy Man was not afraid of water. What he was afraid of was the power that the Ghost Emperor had exploded out just now. And the reason why the Ghost Emperor had exploded out such a ferocious power was not because Long Fei's blood had given him power, but because of the power contained within Long Fei's blood. The aura of a king, the strength of a king of the ancient inheritance. This made the Ghost Emperor think of a person who once turned him from a little ghost into a Ghost Emperor. To be exact, it should be his master. It was also because of this that the Ghost Emperor had released a power that far exceeded that of a level 1 Ghost Emperor, which was why his pressure was firmly suppressing Sandy Man. However, he was still lacking a little bit, and now he could only rely on Long Fei. F***CK. Long Fei didn't have time to care about all this. I'm already going to die. Who cares about the ancient heaven flames or what? In an instant, Long Fei took out the black iron box that held the sky fire. I don't know how to use it. His eyes turned vicious. I don't care. The left fist moved, heavily smashing down. The black box caved in, and within the cracks, streams of flames started to climb up like tiny swimming dragons, filling Long Fei's entire left arm. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2434 was 2F asterisk King Cool. Chapter 2434 was 2F asterisk King Cool. / as the threads of flame coiled around his body. Long Fei's left sleeve instantly combusted, and these threads of fire coiled around his entire left arm, as if each of his tendons had turned into a flame. It continued to emit ear-piercing hissing sounds. It was like burning red-hot iron in cold water. Ah! Long Fei let out a painful cry. His pupils were unfocused. His left fist went to his mind, then his entire body. It was as though he was being sucked into an iron box by a powerful force. When the flames coiled around his left arm like slithering silk and kept spiraling up, his left arm seemed to be burning. That sort of feeling was extremely painful. Except pain, there was also a powerful force growing on his left arm. This feeling, excited, strength. As the punch landed, it was as if he had broken through a source of energy. Flames swirled around him, as if his strength was burning and twisting, growing and expanding on his left arm. This feeling was indescribably wonderful. In short, he was in pain and happy. On the other side, when Sandy Man saw Long Fei shattering the metal box, he only sneered in the beginning because he knew that no one other than him could control the heaven flames in the iron box. Long Fei was courting death, but when the heavenly fire in the metal box turned into threads of flame and coiled around Long Fei's left arm as if it had life, he became terrified. His eyes trembled, just like a madman who went mad. He cried out unceasingly, "No, no, that's impossible, that's impossible. Other than me, no one else can control the heaven flame." Ah! Instant rage. Sandy Man stared straight at Long Fei. His right hand moved, and 10,000 grains of sand surged towards Long Fei like a tide. Die? He was enraged to the extreme. Tens of thousands of sand condensed in the air, like a salon releasing a roar, opening his mouth, falling from the sky, directly towards Long Fei's head. Long Fei's eyes darkened. He pulled with his left hand. Buzz. A flash of flame shot out, but it did not remove his left hand from the metal box. The integration was not complete. Not only was he unable to pull his hand out of the metal box, even more importantly, Long Fei's body could not move. Holy sh**T. Long Fei cursed as he looked at Sharon, who was about to pounce down from the sky. "I'm going to die, I'm going to die." Hurry, hurry, hurry up. Since he couldn't move, Long Fei could only wait for death. Now, the only thing he could rely on was how quickly he could integrate with the heaven flames. He didn't know why the Ghost Emperor would say the words sky flames before he left. However, now he understood. The power of the sky fire was enough to kill Sandy Man. The moment Long Fei merged with the heavenly fire, fear appeared in the Sandy Man's eyes. One could imagine he was afraid of the heaven flames. As long as he fused with the heavenly fire, he would be able to defeat it. Hurry up! Hurry up! Long Fei roared. As he watched the slivers of flames rise up little by little, every trace of Long Fei's fist, from his elbow to the bone, became incomparably scarlet. Hurry, hurry, brother, hurry up. Long Fei urged in his heart. Sandy Man moved. Roar! A super salon appeared beneath his feet. It was churning crazily, looking at Long Fei, who was motionless on the spot. It laughed sinisterly. It's useless. You can't withstand the power of the heaven flame at all. You're going to die soon. Ha ha ha. He was crazily approaching them. At the same time, Sandy Man was incomparably shocked in his heart because how powerful was the heaven flame? Others might not know, but he knew it very well. It was not some kind of heaven punishment, but rather the activation of some kind of artifact forging power of taboos by the ancient Sand Moon tribe in pursuit of the highest realm of artifact forging. However, the heavenly fire lost control and began to burn. After burning it for who knows how many years, in these long years, the ancient Sand Moon tribe had always struggled to subdue the heavenly fire, and only after 100,000 years did they finally manage to do so. But he couldn't control it. Its power was too powerful, capable of burning away everything in the world. It was only at that time that it was created, and it was only used to control the heavenly fire. It also had the power of the heavenly fire. It was just that. If he wanted to compete with the heaven flame's profound chi, the heaven flame's power would be as weak as an invisible ant. The ancient Sand Moon tribe was an ancient artifact forging clan. Their control over fire could be said to be extremely strong, and no one on this plane was able to withstand the fire that even they were unable to withstand. Long Fei was definitely going to die. But now, not only was he not dead, but the rate at which the heavenly fire was burning was incredibly slow. Why was this so? Could it be Long Fei's body was stronger than sky fire? To fuse with the heaven flames was much more important than fusing with one's heart. However, the current sky fire could only wrap around Long Fei's left arm. It could not enter his mind at all. This was an impossible task. The human body could not endure it. And even if it could, Long Fei would become a fireman. The Sandy Man did not understand. However, he didn't want to understand because Long Fei was about to die. The Sharon roared and swallowed, as long as he was buried by the sand. Even if Long Fei had 10 lives, it wouldn't be enough to kill him. Ha ha ha. Ah ha ha. The heaven flame is mine. It's mine. Everything is mine. Sandy Man laughed crazily, and the entire primordial city was trembling. Those people who were tied up by the sand chains all looked at Long Fei. Transformers bellowed, "Boss, run!" Kai Lina also shouted loudly, "Long Fei, run! Run!" Long Fei also wanted to, but he couldn't move at all right now. His left fist was still firmly sucked into the iron box. The flames were still crazily exploding and wrapping around his left arm. Seeing that the salon above was about to bite down, Long Fei gritted his teeth, which made a cracking sound as his right fist clenched tightly. Hurry the F***K up. At this moment, the flame on the metal box suddenly disappeared. Long Fei's body regained its freedom. But on his left arm, his entire left arm was burning. Other than the flames, he could see that his left arm was extremely red. This bastard. Could it be the legendary Qilin arm? Who cares what you are? Bang! Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he stared at the black hole in front of him. With his left arm lowered, he rose from the ground and pounced towards Sharon's throat. Long Fei roared. Rumble! 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 Deafening sounds continuously exploded as Long Fei directly pierced through Sharon's throat and continuously released lightning from his body as he went berserk along the way. That scene. It was like a kitchen knife chopping down on a high-voltage line. Rumble! A loud sound rang out, and Sharon fell to the ground. It turned into a pile of sand. Long Fei let out a heavy breath in his heart. In that instant earlier, the power on his left arm exploded forth. Ha ha ha. His eyes darkened and stared straight at Sandy Man, who was in a daze. Lifting his finger, the burning finger pointed at Sandy Man's nose and laughed sinisterly. It's your turn. Chapter 24:35. Great Techniques. Big Fire Ring, Flame Emperor. Chapter 24:35. Great Techniques. Big Fire Ring, Flame Emperor. It's your turn. Savage beyond compare. Incomparable dominance. His imposing manner was like a king who looked down on everything. His hair was in disarray. His hair was flying in the air, his left arm was burning, and he was floating in the air, looking at the flame on Long Fei's left arm. He shook his head and said, "Impossible, impossible, absolutely impossible. Humans are simply unable to fuse with the heavenly fire. They can't withstand it at all. This is impossible." Not only was the fusion successful, sky fire could at most fuse with one of Long Fei's arm. What did this mean? This meant that the strength in Long Fei's body was far stronger than the heavenly fire. Princess Sandmoon's clansmen were also confused. He can actually fuse the heaven flame, and with just a single hand. This is too unbelievable. No one can do it. Princess Sandmoon frowned. As a member of the weapon refining clan, their control over fire could be said to be unrivaled. However, so many of their ancestors had died in the heavenly flame. However, the human in front of him was able to fuse one hand. It was hard to imagine. Princess Sandmoon looked at Long Fei, his heart filled with incomparable shock, and at the same time, she was also worried because Long Fei had only merged with the sky fire. Could he unleash the power of the sky fire? Sandy Man was an immortal existence. If Long Fei was unable to fully control the sky fire, then the final winner would still be Sandy Man. At the same time, he would be able to absorb the sky fire from Long Fei's body. At that time, the entire wilderness would turn into a sea of fire. Under normal circumstances, no matter what kind of power it was, it would take a long time to cultivate and familiarize oneself with it before they could unleash their full power. However, it was someone else. Long Fei felt that. There was no need at all, because there was a mark on his left arm, and he felt that the Ming clan mark could directly boost the power of the heavenly fire to its peak. Sandy Man stared at Long Fei, his expression returning to normal, his hands forming claws, grabbing the air. Boom, boom, boom. On the ground of the ancient city, sand wildly gathered, condensed, and formed an incomparably savage demon beast. It was incomparably huge. The Sandy Man moved slightly and landed on top of the demon beast's head. She stared at Long Fei and said, "Even if you fuse with the heaven flame, you will still die. Brat, wake up. Sand Demon." Boom. The gigantic demon beast slightly raised its foot. Whoosh. A bolt of lightning struck down and disappeared from where he stood. It also instantly appeared in front of Long Fei and crossed its arms. It was as though two gigantic sand walls were crushing down on them. His speed was shockingly fast. Long Fei looked around, took a glance at his burning left arm, and then stared at the Sandy Man above the demon beast's head. "My boss, break it for me." Left fist to clear the way. A charge, directly straight. The power on his left arm released a flame that soared into the sky the moment it came into contact with the beast's body, directly enveloping the entire beast. Heavenly flames tempering. It was also at this moment that Long Fei's fist shot out like a violent storm. Ah, ah, ah. Bang, bang, bang. It directly charged into the belly of the giant demon. The sand continued to wrap around and sink down, trying to bind Long Fei. As for Long Fei, not at all. After charging into the huge beast's abdomen, it began to violently bombard upwards from its abdomen all the way to its neck, and then upwards again, directly smashing into its head. In the process, Long Fei only used a second. "Explode for me." Flames burst out from the sand, and the gigantic demon beast was completely destroyed. Its fist also landed at Sandy Man's feet. Sandy Man's eyes turned sinister as he instantly flew out. Long Fei quickly followed. Walala, the gigantic sand demon beast instantly crumbled and let out a pitiful cry as it died. The flames on its body retracted and once again returned to Long Fei's arm. This was the power of the heavenly fire. As long as he was hit, even if the Sandy Man's power could revive him, it was useless. The sand on the demon beast's body would all be burnt into slag. It was just like being purified. "Flee?" Long Fei smirked. "Aren't you very arrogant? Isn't he definitely not going to die? Isn't this the world you created? Didn't you say that you are the king here? How can you be a dog now?" Long Fei laughed in disdain. He never thought that Long Fei would be able to unleash the power of the sky fire to such a level, as long as he met even the slightest of it. Both of his fists were clenched tightly, causing the sand in Sandy Man's hands to frantically lock tightly together with an explosive sound. And then Sandy Man's body sank. He raised his head and roared, "Heavenly sand burial. Bring it on. Let me show you what is called the power of destruction." Ah! Following his furious roar, the entire ancient city crumbled continuously, turning into sand. In the blink of an eye, a huge city turned into an endless desert. Sand flew everywhere. The sand was like knives. Those hanging in the air could not bear it at all. A grain of sand blew past and pierced through their bodies. Ah! It hurts. Help! Several of Sand Moon Tribe's clansmen had instantly died. Transformers and Kai Lina were slightly better, although the sand could not penetrate their bodies. Their bodies were covered with fresh blood that surged out madly. When Princess Sand Moon saw this situation, her body trembled, and she shouted loudly, "Stop him! Stop him! Otherwise, everyone will die. Faster!" Chapter 2436. "You bastard! Explode for me!" Chapter 2436. "You bastard! Explode for me!" Axius, Flame Emperor? Was the heaven flame a flaming fruit? None of this mattered. The most important thing was this scene caused the wind to blow. Moreover, it was exactly the same as the big fire ring of the Flame Emperor. Awesome. Long Fei was shocked himself. He looked at the huge flame above his head. This was the power of the heavenly fire on his Qilin arm. Sandy Man was also stunned. Gritting his teeth, he stared straight at Long Fei, as though he had a blood feud with Long Fei, and could not wait to tear Long Fei into 10,000 pieces, and growled sinisterly, "Impossible! You've only just merged with it. It's impossible for you to unleash such powerful energy." Impossible! He shouted. Sandy Man was even more berserk. The sky above Shatian fiercely rolled down. "Brat, go and die!" The sky collapsed. Endless sand rained down towards Long Fei. To any of the people here, the power they felt was like the sky collapsing, and they could not endure it at all. Long Fei felt the power within the huge fireball and was wild with excitement. Staring at Sandy Man, who was howling crazily, he said, "Kill this daddy? Hee. Let's see who kills who." And then Long Fei's heart moved, and he thought to himself, "No matter what name this move of yours is called, when it comes to me, your name will be Big Fire Ring. Bring it on." Long Fei's left hand moved, lifting up an enormous ball of fire. As the power in his body surged, the veins on his forehead popped out, and he also let out a furious shout, "Big Fire Ring!" explode, rumble. Flames covered the sky and swept out in a berserk manner. Fire on one side and sand on the other. It was as though the two planes of the universe were clashing against each other. That scene, it could not be described with words. The power was churning, everything was churning. Long Fei released all of the true essence in his body and injected it into the flames. He roared with all his might and charged with all his might, as if he was using all of his strength to resist the collapse of the heavens. The Sandy Man was also roaring. His expression was one of incomparable pain. The sand crazily wrapped around and rolled down, but it was blocked by the flames Long Fei released. And also, the sand that was burned by the flames turned deathly gray and kept falling down from the sky. He could no longer control this sand. A decline of tons per ton. Sandy Man was panicking as he looked at the huge flames. Immediately, a drop of fire-like liquid emerged from between Sandy Man's eyebrows. The space between his eyebrows deepened. The liquid fell onto the ground, creating a giant formation that covered the entire area. At the same time, the Sandy Man chanted softly, "Savage desert." The entire desert was trembling, and like an ocean on a hurricane, it began to wreak havoc, a huge sandstorm engulfing everything. And there were more than one of them, and the whole desert was moving. All the sand in the desert was moving toward a ravine. Princess Sand Moon shouted, "He's activating the power of taboos. Quick, quick, quickly stop him. Quick." Sandy Man laughed sinisterly and said, "This is the desert, and this is the world I created. In my world, I am the king. Ha ha ha. Even if you merge with the heaven flame, I can kill you too. Ha ha ha. Come out." Desert Death God, Sandy Man was trembling from head to toe. He had channeled all of his power. He wanted to kill Long Fei. He was going to destroy everything in this place at all costs, even if it meant death. The desert surged. The power that seemed to come from another world was incomparably huge. Long Fei's heart tensed up. It was already difficult to deal with the Sandy Man. If another otherworldly monster appeared, then I really have to answer it here. Immediately, Long Fei clenched his right fist. "Bring me the sword." Shwa! The sky sword landed in his hands. He tightly gripped the sky sword's body with his left hand and fiercely pulled. Swish! Blood and flames immediately set the sky sword on fire. At this moment, the sky sword seemed to have recovered in an instant. Not only that, the energy in the sword became denser and stronger. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The strange lights went berserk and wreaked havoc. Long Fei was also shocked. He only wanted the sky sword to attach the power of the heaven flame to it, but did not expect it to suddenly awaken. Could it have been repaired? Or was it because he sensed danger? Because of Long Fei's blood. Last time the sky sword was heavily injured in the secret world, it would take at least 10 to 8 years before it could completely recover. Because of Long Fei's blood, she could recover her strength after absorbing just a little bit of it. Strange lights flashed. The move of the sky code appeared in Long Fei's mind. Moreover, last time Long Fei used the universal soul, the sky sword absorbed a lot of it and directly activated the second level of the sky code. At this moment, Long Fei was too lazy to think about the sky sword becoming stronger. Looking at the sword, he said excitedly, "It's good that you are back. Now that you are back, follow me to kill everyone." He exerted force with his right hand. Buzz. Strange light shot out. With the support of the heaven flame, the sky sword became a gigantic fire sword. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. Raising his right hand, the sky sword pointed at Sandy Man and coldly spat out one word, "Die." Shwa! His body suddenly charged forward. It was like a streak of fiery lightning. Sky Code, second form. Sky splitting. One sword to defy the heavens. The sky sword moved, causing the sky to sink, and a huge force to condense above the sky sword. At this moment, the sword's cry shook the heavens. Chapter 2437. Explosive Walala. Chapter 2437. Explosive Walala, 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 Walala. Collapse. It was collapsing completely. The sand in the sky was crumbling, the sand in the desolate desert was crumbling, and the monster summoned by the power of taboos of another realm was crumbling as well. The most important thing was the sandy man itself was collapsing. He was like a statue that couldn't take the power anymore. His entire body was petrified and was constantly cracking. He wanted to turn around and look at Long Fei, but there was a thin sword wound on his chest. The fire burned on the wound. At this moment, his entire body was cracking, and he couldn't withstand this kind of power. At this moment, he felt death. Just who are you? Sandy Man said with a trembling voice. He wanted to know who he had died to, but he was unwilling, because he did not die in the hands of the ancient Sand Moon Tribes. He did not die in the hands of the magic Tribes. He died in the hands of a human instead. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Is it important?" Sandy Man, who seemed to be giving his all, asked, "Tell me." Long Fei grinned. "I'm your father. Stop being so long-winded. Go ahead and explode." Long Fei couldn't wait any longer. After saying that, he kicked it with his foot, ruthlessly contemptuous. "Wasting your father's time." Bam! Sandy Man's body exploded. It was as if his soul was being devoured by a black hole, as a blood-curdling scream sounded out in the air. No. At this moment, when the system beep rang out, Long Fei's expression tensed up, and his heart tensed up. Explode. Explode. I have to get something good out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Forbidden Sand Demon for obtaining 100 million experience points, 100 million true chi points, and 20 arrogant god energy value points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Secret Sand Control Technique. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining God's Destruction. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining God's Fire Heart. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining... The system made a series of berserk noises. Every single one of them was at the divine level. The explosion felt too good, and Long Fei felt unspeakably comfortable. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at the first stage of the arrogant form. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for reaching the arrogant form state and obtaining a special reward from the system. Reward item, Tyrant's Strength. With the sound of it leveling up, all of the power in Long Fei's body underwent a drastic change. At the same time, his physical body underwent a huge change. Even if it could not fuse them, the system did not give a reason. Finally, Long Fei could only give up. Rumble! 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 The surroundings started to buzz continuously. The underground space was about to collapse. Long Fei's heart trembled slightly. Save him first. I almost forgot. A few minutes later, the canyon sank and countless grains of sand sank into the ground. The entire desert was shaking, and the entire wilderness was shaking as well. Violent, thunderous roars rang out continuously. Huff! Long Fei let out a heavy breath and asked, "Are you all right?" Transformers said naively, "It's fine, boss. Your last move was too awesome." Kai Lina also looked at Long Fei, but in her heart, Long Fei had become different. Now, she saw hope in Long Fei. Perhaps this man can really bring me home. She had not held out hope because of Long Fei's character. He was too assertive and too loyal. He wanted to protect anyone around him, even if they knew he was going to die. This kind of person would not live long. However, from the looks of it, Long Fei was not the type of person who would not be able to live for long. Kai Linus secretly clenched his fists and thought, next time, I will do everything I can to protect you. Her strength was not fully unleashed. Princess Sand Moon walked to the side of the canyon and looked at the slowly filling up canyon. It was strange. The entire canyon was filled, but the sacrificial altar in the suspended canyon was like bamboo shoots after a spring rain. It slowly protruded from the sand, as though it was still floating in the air. Long Fei gave Sand Moon people some healing pills and walked forward, asking, "What's going on with that altar?" The Princess Sand Moon said indifferently, "That is not a sacrificial altar. It is our Sand Moon tribe's refining platform." Chapter 2438, Recasting Ju Kei's Sword. Chapter 2438, Recasting Ju Kei's Sword. At this time, Sand Moon people also walked forward, his eyes full of piety, looking at the stage like a believer. "The stage?" Blacksmith Long Fei asked. The Princess Sand Moon nodded. "Yes, but it's just that. This is the first time in so many years that I have seen someone being taken over by a slaying demon. Who knows just how many years this stage has been sealed for?" Her eyes were a little lonely. The eyes he looked at her with caused Long Fei to think of Yorong. It was the same look. He wanted to make his family rise, but it was full of helplessness, unwillingness, and helplessness. Princess Sand Moon was the same. From the moment she was born, she had been carrying the responsibility of eliminating the Sandy Man-S and allowing the ancient artifact-forging Sand Moon tribe to rise once again. The Sandy Man was too strong, so strong that they were unable to survive in the wilderness. This was also the reason why they wanted to leave. To think that I almost died here, now that the Sand Moon tribe's enemy was gone. She was not happy at all, because she would never be able to ignite the fire on the altar again. Long Fei said, "How do I use this stage?" "He looks very ordinary." The Princess Sand Moon smiled bitterly and said, "It requires God's fire heart as to be activated, but..." Princess Sand Moon looked at Long Fei's left arm. Long Fei's left arm was still burning with flames, and the Qilin arm was still in use. The energy of the sky fire was extremely thick, and it looked a little eye-piercing. With one hand on fire, it was hard to walk on the street without attracting attention. Long Fei also looked at his left arm and thought, "Isn't it too cool? However, it's really great to be able to attract girls." His left arm was on fire, and the flames were very threatening. He was extremely domineering. Seeing the lonely expression in the Princess Sand Moon's eyes, although Long Fei was reluctant, he directly took out the god's fire heart and asked, "Is this a god's fire heart?" His left hand moved. A flame appeared in his palm. Princess Sand Moon was stunned. At this moment, all of the Sand Moon people behind her kneeled down to the ground and kowtowed. Princess Sand Moon said, "Didn't you fuse the heavenly fire? Why did you release the god's fire heart again?" He looked excited. As long as there were God's fire heart-s, the Sand Moon tribe, would be able to wield their hammers again. At that time, the weapons that they forged would be famous throughout the entire wild universe. Long Fei said, "Even after fusing, I can't release it. You can take it." He thought to himself, "Looks like they don't know that the flames on Sandy Man's body are the god's fire heart, right? Not just them." Even the Sandy Man himself did not know that he had been searching for God's fire heart his entire life. But if he knew that the heaven flame in his body was a god's fire heart, he would probably regret it to death. Princess Sand Moon became even more excited and said, "Really, really? Your ability to fuse with the Heaven Flame means that the Heaven Flame chose you, and you can choose not to return it to us." Long Fei actually wanted to fuse them, but he couldn't fuse it. Transformers also touched Long Fei a little. The idea used the voice transmission technique to ask, "Boss, what are you returning such a good thing to them for?" That big fire ring. Transformers will never forget the power of the giant fireball, which was so powerful that it could even bring lightning for the rest of his life. If it was the power of the god's fire heart, how could he give it back to them? Long Fei said in a loud voice, "Take it. It originally belonged to you. What else could it be? It couldn't be fused." Moreover, the feeling god's fire heart gave Long Fei was not simple. It wasn't because its power wasn't simple, but rather it was due to its appearance. Why couldn't he fuse them? Long Fei thought of something. Task: the mission of escorting Princess Sand Moon. As long as one reached a high level, they would be able to receive a special reward from the system. This key possibility lay with the god's fire heart. What was the special reward? Long Fei didn't know. Can you get a high ranking? Long Fei did not know either. But Long Fei didn't want to see the lonely and unreconciled look in the Princess Sand Moon's eyes, just like how Yurong wasn't able to choose his own fate. How could such a beauty live in pain? Of course not. Long Fei passed the Heaven Flame over. Princess Sand Moon picked up a handful of sand from the ground and used this method to receive the god's fire heart. And then Princess Sand Moon walked towards him, step by step. The clansmen paid their respects, walking to the refining platform. Princess Sand Moon looked up to the sky, his mouth chanting a few sentences, and then he gently put down the god's fire heart. Immediately, boom, a beam of fire shot into the sky. It was like a pillar of light that shot into the clouds, suddenly exploding in the clouds with incomparable brilliance. At this moment, refining platform was set ablaze. This flame carried an incomparably special power. It was completely different from the flame power on Long Fei's left arm. This was the reason why Long Fei was unable to fuse them. Princess Sand Moon retreated down the stage, and to a distance of 3 meters, he kneeled down heavily, kowtowing with tears in his eyes. Then, he slowly stood up and walked over to Long Fei's side, wanting to kneel down. Long Fei held him back and said, "I don't need to kneel. It's just a god's fire heart. There's no need for you to kneel." Princess Sand Moon held back his tears and said, "Thank you." Swish, la la. A stream of flames soared. Chi shot out 10 meters straight to the place where the flames burned, bringing with it a black destructive force. At this moment, Long Fei could feel the power within the Ju Kei sword, together with the left arm's fire. With one word, fierce. Long Fei was extremely excited and was secretly glad that the god's fire heart was given to the Princess Sand Moon. Else, this Ju Kei sword was truly blind. Weapon: Ju Kei sword, fire, grade, divine level attribute. Fire, annihilation description, possesses a powerful fire suppression ability and has a chance to trigger a destructive attack. Looking at these attributes, Long Fei was so excited that he almost laughed out loud. "I've struck it rich! I've struck it rich! Ha ha ha!" The god's fire heart can't be fused. It's going to perfectly evolve the Ju Kei sword. It feels so good. And a scene appeared in Long Fei's mind. He used the Ju Kei sword to release the big fire ring. Wow, this is too cool. The sis is definitely going to scream. Ha! Transformers was also stunned. Damn, instantly turned the broken sword into a divine weapon. Too powerful. Transformers laughed foolishly. Big sis, can you also craft a weapon for me? I don't need someone as good as boss. Just give me any heaven-ranked magic weapon. Any random heaven-stage magic weapon. If other martial artists had heard this, they would have been tempted to devour him. Land-level treasure were all extremely rare. Refining it was extremely difficult. The moment Transformers opened his mouth, he knew that it was a heaven-stage magic weapon. The lion's mouth was wide open. However, Princess Sand Moon did not hesitate at all, as if it was an extremely easy task, and said, "Sure, but we are using all of the refining materials on the sword just now. How about we refine it for you next time? What kind of weapon do you want?" "Huh." Long Fei was stunned for a moment, then said, "Don't listen to him. Heaven-rank magic weapons are not easy to refine." The Princess Sand Moon said, "It might be difficult for other refiners, but for our family of Xiaoyu, a heaven-ranked magic weapon is not hard at all. Our Sand Moon tribe was specially created for the purpose of refining. Besides, you all are the benefactors of our Sand Moon tribe. It is our honor to be able to create magic weapons for our benefactors." The surrounding Sand Moon people also spoke up. The magic weapon were originally prepared for Powerhouse. Since you have saved us, we, the Sand Moon tribe, will definitely repay your kindness. Just tell me how many heaven-rank magic weapon you want. We'll make you as much as you want. When it came to artifact forging, they were all extremely arrogant. There was no one in the Zhen Wu continent who was stronger than them in refining. The smile on Transformers' face blossomed. He was just speaking casually. He did not expect Princess Sand Moon to agree, and immediately said, "I want a thick rod as a weapon. The bigger and thicker it is, the better." Transformers said excitedly. Long Fei disdainfully said, "Don't you know that big weapons require more materials? What do you want a stick for? To dance the steel pipe dance?" Princess Sand Moon pursed his lips and smiled. "No problem." The Transformers was even happier and immediately jumped up and said loudly, "Really?" The Princess Sand Moon said, "We, the Sand Moon tribe, will stick to our words. It's just that you have to wait a bit longer. We need to prepare the materials." Transformers replied, "All right, I'm not in a rush." At this moment, in the distance, there was a wave of rolling yellow sand, along with the roars of several demon beasts. Transformers fixed his eyes on it. He embraced it with both fists and said fiercely, "The desert giant scorpion still dares to come? Let's see how I'll kill you this time. Princess! Princess! Princess!" A shout came from afar. Princess Sand Moon's eyes shook, and he immediately said, "They are my clansmen." Princess Sand Moon looked at Long Fei's left arm. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, low key, Conkim, you go back to the beast space too." The idea moved and teleported Transformers into the beast space. It was also at this time his burning left arm extinguished. It was a strange thing. The flames on his left arm instantly entered the Ming clan's imprint space. However, it disappeared without a trace. Long Fei thought in his heart, "Can the Ming clan's mark and sky fire perfectly fuse together? F***CK. It can't become an underworld fire, right? Rob." Thinking of this, Long Fei started to get excited. It was also at this time Princess Sand Moon walked in front of refining platform and retracted his hand slightly. He then kept the refining platform and the god's fire heart in a special space. The leading old man rushed over in a hurry. Seeing the Princess Sand Moon coming down from the demon beast's back, he said anxiously, "Princess, I finally found you." The voice and the flames, not waiting for him to finish. A few other ferocious demon beasts rushed over, and on the back of a great 7-rating monster and beasts, a young man in his early 20s looked at Princess Sand Moon, then looked at Long Fei. His eyes turned cold. Why did a useless human come here? Get out of the wilderness. Chapter 2440, Fiancé. Chapter 2440, Fiancé, get out of the wilderness. With that, the man's mount, the great 7-rating monster, and beasts suddenly took a step forward. Its breath was fire, and its eyes were filled with a primal savageness as it stared straight at Long Fei. If this was placed on an ordinary person, they would have immediately fallen down in fright. Kai Lina's body slightly moved. As long as the big demon beast dared to advance another half-step, she would kill it with her sword. Long Fei did not even raise his eyes, laughed, and said, "And what are you? Do you even deserve to speak human language? You're courting death." The eyes of the man on top of the big demon beast grimaced, and he shouted out in a deep voice, with the support of the horse beneath him. His huge body immediately stood up. He let out a roar and was about to ruthlessly stomp on the horse. Incomparable savagery. Long Fei still did not move. Kai Lina wanted to move, but Princess San Moon was the first to speak. "Meng Shan, what do you want to do?" It immediately blocked in front of Long Fei and stared angrily at the man on the demon beast's back. Seeing the Princess San Moon in front blocking them, the elder who had climbed down from the demon beast hurriedly walked forward and said, "Princess, it's dangerous." Meng Shan's eyes turned sinister as he stared at Princess San Moon. "Princess, have you forgotten your status? You're actually protecting a human?" Meng Shan did not belong to the Xiaoyu clan. However, the Princess San Moon had a special identity. Princess San Moon replied, "They have saved me before. Without them, I would already be dead." "You want to kill my San Moon tribe's benefactor?" Meng Shan glanced at Long Fei, coldly laughed, and said, "Relying on him? Humans are extremely weak and treacherous. You couldn't have been fooled by him, right?" "Hey!" Meng Shan stared at Long Fei and said, "Trash, what crafty scheme did you use to deceive the princess? Speak honestly. Otherwise, I will let you die so that your mother won't recognize you." "Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha!" A mocking laugh immediately sounded from behind him. "Ha ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Humans were extremely afraid of death in the magic tribe. Moreover, sly and cunning. Long Fei raised his eyes and looked at Meng Shan's face and laughed. "Second time." Meng Shan said, "What did you say?" "What second time?" "The second scam? Is this your second time seeing someone as handsome as me?" "Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Their patriarch is so ugly. What do you think he looks like? Even a bug looks better than them. Ha ha!" Kai Lina frowned. He wanted to attack. Long Fei slightly stopped him. His eyes raised as he said coldly, "If I hear the word trash for the second time, you will regret coming to this world. I will do as I say." Gloomy, icy cold. The great demon beast underneath, Meng Shan wanted to get angry, but when he saw the look in Long Fei's eyes, his body suddenly trembled and began to tremble. A chill also rose in Meng Shan's heart. An unprecedented pressure entered his heart. Fear. Meng Shan clenched his fists tightly. His forehead turned sinister and was about to become angry. Princess San Moon spoke again and said, "Meng Shan, have you messed around enough yet? If you dare to be disrespectful to my San Moon tribe's benefactor again, don't blame me for telling your clan leader." Humph! The muscles at the corner of Meng Shan's eyes twitched and said coldly, "Brat, today is your lucky day." And then Meng Shan said, "Princess, my young master is still waiting for you to return. Please." A demon beast walked out. The Princess Sand Moon hesitated for a moment, but still walked forward, wanting to mount the demon beast. At this moment, Long Fei took a step forward and said, My escort mission is not over yet. The old man appeared. Then, with Meng Shan's appearance and this team, not only did they not want to find people, they even wanted to kill them. Furthermore, the way they looked at Princess San Moon was different. Although they called her a princess, their eyes were filled with killing intent. Long Fei had a strong reaction to killing intent, to the point that not even a trace of it could escape from him. Princess San Moon was stunned. Meng Shan shouted, "Brat, this is the wilderness. This is the territory of our magic tribe. Your Highness doesn't need your protection. Scram back to where you came from, and don't let me see you again, or else." Kai Lina took a step forward and said coldly, "Otherwise, how about it?" Buzz. An extremely strong pressure directly pressed down on Meng Shan's mind. In an instant, his face was flushed red, and his veins were popping out. It was as if his breath was stuck in his throat. It was extremely uncomfortable. Otherwise, no, he didn't come out even after a long time. It was so crushing that he could not move at all. As long as Kai Lina used even the slightest amount of strength, his head would be crushed until it exploded. Kai Lina said again, "Otherwise what?" "Speak." Meng Shan's face darkened, and his four limbs twitched. He could not make a sound. Princess San Moon looked at Long Fei, and then said, "The Meng family's people are here. The sand demon has died. I am also safe now, so—" She did not know her own danger. Long Fei said, "I promised you that I would escort you out of the savage desert. Your Sand Moon tribe has kept his word, and I, Long Fei, also keep my word." One of the clan elders from the Sand Moon tribe's expression darkened. Long Fei glanced at Kai Lina. Kai Lina retracted his might, looked at Meng Shan, and said, "With ants like you, I can crush you to death with a single finger. If you continue to be disrespectful to my boss, I'll take your dog life." He withdrew his aura. Meng Shan gasped for breath. Who? They did not dare to look at Kai Lina. However, his eyes were full of killing intent as he said fiercely in his heart, "I will definitely kill you with my own hands." "You want me to escort you, right? If you are courting death, then you can't blame others." And then Meng Shan said, "Since they want to escort us, then let them be. There's more. You are the princess benefactors, so you are naturally our Meng family's benefactors as well. So, you guys go with me to the Meng family. I believe that my young master will thank you. It was you who saved his fiancée. He will definitely thank you again." Long Fei looked at Princess Sand Moon and muttered, "Fiancé?" A complex expression appeared in Princess Sand Moon's eyes. Sensing Long Fei's gaze, she smiled. However, the Princess Sand Moon reacted and said, "The Meng family is the Meng family, and the Sand Moon tribe is the Sand Moon tribe. They are my benefactors, so the Meng family does not need to thank you. I'll leave the savage desert. You can leave now." Princess Sand Moon looked at Long Fei and said softly, "You must not go to the Meng family. You must not go to Magic Tribe." Meng Shan replied, "How can I do that? He is your savior. So naturally, young master has to thank him. In another month, young master will be participating in the Gods Sect gathering organized by the human race." "Right. Do you know the Gods Sect gathering? From the looks of it, you probably don't know about it, right?" Long Fei's eyes slightly rose, and his lips drew back. Gods Sect gathering. Participant of Magic Tribe. Ha! Under the illumination of the flames, he could roughly see Princess Sand Moon's face. The pair of eyes under the veil had a trace of loneliness in it as they quietly stared at the bonfire without blinking. Very smart. After a long time, Long Fei stretched his back and was just about to say something when Princess Sand Moon was a step ahead of him. He looked at Long Fei, and for some reason, his expression was somewhat panicked and a little worried as he said, "It's an engagement set up by my father." Unfathomable. She didn't know why she wanted to explain, but she wanted to explain to Long Fei. Long Fei had originally wanted to say goodnight and go to sleep. He was really not interested in the Princess Sand Moon's engagement. A woman had to marry someone, and if she wanted to marry someone, she had to marry someone. Sand Moon Tribe was also one of the magic tribes. It was normal for him to have a marriage with a genius from a family. Thus, Long Fei responded softly. Oh, he was truly very casual and did not have any thoughts. However, Princess Sand Moon mistook Long Fei's casual tone for another meaning and explained once again, "Actually, I don't even like Meng Qian." Long Fei was startled. He thought, "You don't need to tell me whether you like it or not, right?" Princess Sand Moon looked at the flames again and said, "But my father was worried that our Sand Moon tribe would be devoured by other magic tribes. So before he died, he made this marriage agreement. He wants to protect the Sand Moon tribe." At that time, I didn't even know what a marriage contract was. Seeing my father in pain, I made a choice without any hesitation. Princess Sand Moon said lightly. There was a hint of bitterness in his eyes. All these years, she had always used her own strength to help the Sand Moon tribe survive as long as possible. Protection from the Meng clan? Except this time, it had never appeared before. As for Meng Qian, she had never seen one before. However, Meng Qian was one of the 18 sons of the Demon Emperor. From this, it could be seen how talented he was, being able to be adopted as a son by the Demon Emperor. It was clear how much the Demon Emperor valued him. But how could she love a stranger she had never met? Long Fei said, "Since you don't like it, then don't marry. Since it's a marriage contract, isn't it just a piece of paper?" The Princess Sand Moon smiled bitterly. "Our Magic Tribe's marriage contract is different from yours. Magic Tribe's marriage contract is based on blood. It cannot be destroyed. If you break the engagement, the demon god will punish you." Long Fei was startled. Is this an engagement or a curse? However, this is quite useful. At the very least, it can make people keep their promise. No, that's not right. People have no other choice but to at least choose the person they like and live the life of the person they love, right? Long Fei thought of Yi Yorong. Chapter 2442, Make Trouble, Me Taking Pictures of You. Chapter 2442, Make Trouble, Me Taking Pictures of You. Early morning, he continued on his way. However, Meng Shan's group was missing 2 people. This was Kai Lina's reminder. Otherwise, Long Fei would not have paid attention. When it came to Kai Lina's observation skills, it was truly an incredible feat. She was like a professional bodyguard who did not miss a single detail. Of course, this was because Transformers had returned to the ancient era of the beast space. Otherwise, she would have been more specialized in scouting in the sky. 2 people going back to report. Or are you preparing somewhere? Long Fei's mouth curved up as he smiled lightly. He then opened the system to take a look at the escort mission and saw that there were no signs of it being completed. Long Fei said to Kai Lina, "Wait, what's going on? If he wants you to leave, then leave. Don't worry about me. I want to see what the Meng clan is up to." Kai Lina nodded lightly. Princess Sand Moon sat on the demon beast's mount. She was wearing a veil, and her expression could not be seen. The other Sand Moon people, were also sitting on their demon beasts. They were extremely happy because they would be leaving the desert in a few days. Only Long Fei and Kai Lina didn't have a mount, so they used their feet to walk on the hot sand. Actually, there were mounts in the group, but Meng Shan had ordered in front of them that the magic tribe's mounts could not be used by humans. Long Fei did not mind. After replenishing his water source, his arrogant form state's body had undergone a huge change. In this kind of desert, it did not have much of an impact on him anymore. Sunset Canyon. We're almost there. We're almost out of the desert. May the demon god bless you. We're finally out of the damn desert. Ha ha ha. Only when we arrive at the Meng family and the princess marries young Master Meng will our Sand Moon tribe have a place. At that time, with our refining skills, our Sand Moon tribe will rise up once again. Thank you, Fiend God. Many Sand Moon people said excitedly. To them, this entire month had been a nightmare. Now it was finally time to get rid of the nightmare. Meng Shan looked at the great gorge in front of him, and a faint smile appeared on his face. The corner of his eye shot a glance at Long Fei, who was within the crowd, and he thought in his heart, "Kid, it's time for your death." Kai Lina looked at the canyon in front of her, her eyebrows slightly tightening as she looked at Long Fei. A natural danger. The canyon was small, and the depths of the canyon was extremely steep. It was a perfect place for an ambush. Long Fei remained calm and collected. An hour later, they stood at the entrance to the canyon. The Princess Sand Moon warned Long Fei and said, "As long as we pass through the Sunset Canyon, we will leave the savage desert." At that time, Long Fei said, "When the time comes, my mission will be over." Princess Sand Moon was a little lonely as he said indifferently, "Thank you for taking care of me and protecting me all the way here." Long Fei said, "You're welcome. I am just following my promise." Meng Shan suddenly walked over and reminded her in an unfriendly manner, "Princess, you need to be clear about your identity. You are not only the Princess Sand Moon, but also the fiancée of our young master. You look at each other like a human being. Don't blame me for not reminding you. If this were to be known by any other tribes, even if you have the protection of our Meng family, would your Sand Moon tribe still be able to establish a foothold? Remember, humans don't have any good stuff." Finished. Meng Shan fiercely glared at Long Fei and said with contempt, "Brat, don't blame me for not reminding you that the Sunset Canyon is very dangerous. If anything were to happen to you, you'd best be able to protect yourself." Then he looked at Kai Lina, who was behind Long Fei. Sensing the change in his aura, Meng Shan's body slightly shrank as he shouted, "Enter the canyon!" Following that, all the warrior of Meng clan shouted in unison, "Enter the canyon!" His voice echoed within the gorge. As the tiny space continued to spread, the canyon for tens of kilometers would probably be able to hear the sound. Meng Shan strode into the canyon as he smiled in his heart. "Brat, you're going to die soon." A few warrior of Meng clan were originally walking in front, but when they entered the canyon, they purposely stayed behind. Moreover, there were a few warrior of Meng clan beside Long Fei that had the strongest cultivation among them. Just based on their chi, Long Fei could sense them. Was he going to make a move? Kai Lina sent a sound transmission to Long Fei and said, "They are probably going to take action." Long Fei slightly smiled and said, "No rush," after walking for an incense stick of time. Roar. In the depths of the canyon, the strange cry of a demon beast could suddenly be heard. Meng Shan waved his hand and immediately shouted out, "Stop!" Everyone stopped. Meng Shan said, "There's danger ahead. Who wants to explore the way?" He didn't wait for anyone to speak. Meng Shan looked at Long Fei and said, "Human brat, we have protected you the entire way. Shouldn't you do something? I'll leave the small task of finding the way to you. Quick, let your follower go." Causing trouble? Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "You're right. Leave the exploration to me. My follower won't do such a small thing like this." And then Long Fei then walked forward with large strides, wanting to enter the canyon. Meng Shan's face darkened. He wanted Kai Lina to leave, but Long Fei left. Who was he going to kill? Moreover, with Kai Lina here, he basically did not dare to rashly make a move against Princess Sandmoon. Seeing Long Fei walk out, the corners of Meng Shan's eyes turned sinister, and he sneered, "I thought you were my master, but I didn't think that you were my follower. Like I said, how could a human have a demon as his follower? So he's a servant. Ha ha ha." And then all the warrior of Meng clan laughed loudly. Long Fei laughed. "That's right, I am a servant, so a servant should scout ahead. Just you wait, I'll be right back." As he spoke, he ran out. Meng Shan gritted his teeth until it made a cracking sound. He wanted to use provocation, but Long Fei did not buy into this at all. Long Fei laughed in his heart. "Are you the only one who dares to scheme with Laozi, causing trouble? You're too far behind." Not long later, Long Fei disappeared into the canyon. A warrior of Meng clan walked up and said, "Sir, Meng Shan shook his head. To him, yesterday's pressure was like a nightmare. He didn't dare to make a move. Moreover, there was an ambush in the depths of the canyon. He did not believe that Long Fei could pass through it." Meng Shan laughed proudly. At this moment, rumble, rumble. After a few explosions, the canyon became quiet. A few minutes later, dust flew into the air from the depths of the canyon, as if a huge creature was moving. Meng Shan's eyes darkened as he thought anxiously in his heart, "Didn't I tell them to use their rank 9 beasts to deal with that brat? After dealing with it, immediately lock it up. Why are you letting it out now?" Warrior of Meng clan also became nervous. However, not long after, a person walked out. Long Fei, with one in each hand. He dragged the heads of the 2-tier 9 savage beasts out. Meng Shan was confused. Chapter 2443. Chapter 2443, 2 9th level savage beasts, and one that was extremely bloodthirsty. But their heads were dragged on the ground by Long Fei. Their eyes had turned white, their tongues were curled up, and their heads were covered in blood. Meng Shan looked in their eyes, and his heart was about to collapse. A 9th level savage beast. This was a very strong battle force. But it was solved in such a short period of time. He died after just a few explosions. Long Fei supported the monster head and walked forward, saying, "Captain Meng is right. There is indeed danger ahead. Now that it has been cleared, we can continue on our journey." Finished. Long Fei then threw the monster head. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 sonic booms rang out as they flew out of the gorge. A few explosions could be heard in the distance. Long Fei clapped his hands and said, "That's right. Other than the 2 demon beasts, there are also a few other men dressed in different clothes. I wonder who was the one who was killed by me." Meng Shan's eyes suddenly exploded, his face red as he stared at Long Fei angrily. His killing intent soared. Long Fei said, "Captain Meng, why do you look so ugly? What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" Meng Shan gritted his teeth. "I'm doing very well." "Oh." Long Fei laughed and said, "That's good." And then Long Fei returned to the group. Meng Shan almost suffered internal injuries due to his anger. Not to mention the fact that a rank 9 beast had died, even a few warrior of Meng clan had died. He definitely wouldn't be able to explain it when he returned this time. However, in the next second, the corners of Meng Shan's eyes turned sinister as he said solemnly, "You dog, if I don't kill you today, then I won't be surnamed Meng." Zhang Xian gestured grandly. "Let's continue. A 9th level savage beast? That was just the first hurdle. This was also a test of his abilities. He had originally wanted to test Kai Linna's strength and the speed at which he returned, but who would have thought that Long Fei would go scout and return in less than 10 minutes? It was a bit unexpected. Yu Hu stepped forward. "What's going on?" Meng Shan said, "Nothing." Yu Hu said, "Meng Shan, didn't you say that you were prepared for everything? Hurry up and make your move. If you walk out of the canyon for half a day longer, there will be no more chances." Meng Shan's eyes darkened as he said, somewhat angrily, "You don't need to remind me when I do things. Just stay at the side for me." Yu Hu felt Meng Shan's anger and did not dare to say anything more. Meng Shan was very unhappy. This displeasure made him angry, and the killing intent in his heart increased even more. Another 2 hours passed. Now that they had reached the center of the canyon, they became even more small and small. Suddenly, a black shadow descended. Shwa! It directly pierced towards the Princess Sand Moon. The black figure's speed was extremely fast, and after Meng Shan's sneak attack had landed, the first thing he had to do was forward response. The long saber moved. Shua! Flames flew in all directions. The assassin shot into the air and instantly slammed into the cliff. His body disappeared. It was as if he had instantly become invisible. Meng Shan immediately shouted, "Enemy attack!" Battle form. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, all the warrior of Meng clan S were in a battle state. At the same time, Meng Shan looked around and ordered again, "Protect Princess Sand Moon." At this moment, Long Fei suddenly sprung up from his original position, and with a leap, the great ravine in his hand was like a big dart. Shwa! In the blink of an eye, it pierced through the skies. Bam! They were firmly nailed to a rock wall. At the same time, a miserable scream sounded out. Ah! Blood gushed out. The sword pierced through that person's body and nailed him to the wall. Long Fei's body gently flew forward and directly stood on top of the Ju Kei sword. Looking at the corpse beneath the sword, he smiled slightly and said, "A sneak attack? You want to sneak attack me? You're courting death." And then Long Fei smiled at everyone and said, "I killed him." Meng Shan's face suddenly turned purple, and he scolded, "Who told you to do it? Who told you to kill someone? Do you even have a captain like me in your eyes?" It was close to a roar. It was as if he had gone crazy. In his heart, he really wanted to cut Long Fei into 30,000 pieces. How infuriating! He was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Long Fei said, indifferently, "Assassin sneak attack, are you not going to attack and let him escape?" Meng Shan shouted, "There is our warrior of Meng clan here. Is there a need for you to make a move? Does the Princess Sand Moon need your protection? Didn't you see that I didn't kill him just now? I'm keeping him alive. But now, just kill him." Meng Shan stared deadly at Long Fei. His eyes moved slightly and said, "Brat, are you trying to kill me to keep my mouth shut? Are you with this killer? Speak. Is it?" In that instant, all of the warrior of Meng clan pointed their pikes at Long Fei. Swish, swish, swish. Meng Shan shouted, "You must be together with the assassin. Otherwise, why did you kill me to keep my mouth shut? You humans are full of schemes. This must be your scheme. Kid, you better explain yourself. What is your goal? Is it the Sand Moon tribe's sacred flame?" A bite back. Long Fei did not expect Meng Shan to have such a method. He took out the Ju Kei sword and descended steadily from the cliff and asked, "How do you know about the weapon refining sacred flame?" Meng Shan was startled and was speechless for a moment. Pausing for a few seconds, Meng Shan shouted, "It's me who is asking you. It's not your turn to ask me. What is your purpose in approaching the Princess Sand Moon? Yu Hu also walked forward and said, "Humans and magic tribe aren't compatible with fire and water. Why would a human like you appear in the wilderness? There must be a purpose. Speak, what is your purpose?" Sand Moon people also looked at each other. Humans seldom appeared in the wilderness, and even if they did appear, they would not care about the life and death of Magic Tribe, much less protecting a princess of the Magic Tribe. Doubt arose in his heart. Long Fei was very calm. "Princess Sand Moon said, he saved my life and helped Sand Moon Tribe get rid of the Sand Demon. It's impossible for him to be with the assassin. I believe in him." "I believe him too. I believe him too." A few Sand Moon people stood up and said. Meng Shan's face sank, looked at Princess Sand Moon, and said, "Princess, human beings are treacherous and cunning. Don't be fooled by him." Princess Sand Moon said, "I can judge right from wrong. I don't need your reminder." Meng Shan had an extremely ugly expression on his face as he said, "Princess, for your safety's sake, I cannot let him approach you again. Kid, from now on, you two are not allowed to get within 10 meters of the princess. Don't blame me for being impolite." Meng Shan said fiercely. Long Fei laughed and said, "You're not being polite. Let's have a look." Meng Shan's eyes narrowed and said, "What did you say? Say that again." Long Fei said, "I'll say, why don't you take a look? I really want to see what you look like without any modesty." The muscles at the corner of Meng Shan's eyes twitched crazily. He could not hold it in any longer. He really couldn't hold it in any longer. Long Fei simply made him collapse to the point of wanting to go berserk. Meng Shan screamed in his heart as he clenched his teeth, so hard that they were about to shatter. The surrounding people were cheering, applauding, and cheering for Long Fei. "If it wasn't for you, many of us would have died just now. Thank you so much. Humans actually have good people as well. I'm ashamed of my suspicions. I'm really sorry. It was too dangerous." If not for Long Fei being born in time, many Sand Moon people would have been smashed to death. They only knew how to refine, and did not have a high level of cultivation. Long Fei suddenly became the hero in their hearts. However, at this moment, Meng Tian and Meng Guang led Princess Sand Moon and escaped into the depths of the canyon. "Where's the princess?" "He's been taken by the Meng brothers to the other side." "Don't worry." They were not worried, but Long Fei secretly cursed in his heart, "Not good." Meng Shan smiled. Right at that moment, a voice came out from in front of them. Princess Sand Moon cried out, "Help!" Immediately, Sand Moon people immediately panicked. "The princess is in danger." "Princess!" They quickly rushed up. However, Meng Shan's eyes moved. A few warrior of Meng clan instantly blocked the way, and Meng Shan shouted, "Calm down. I will send someone to save them. You don't have to worry." Meng Shan was not in a hurry. With the Princess Sand Moon in control, everything would be easy. At this moment, Kai Linus spread out his wings and rushed out into the sky like a bolt of lightning. His speed was extremely fast. Meng Shan was secretly shocked. He was shocked in his heart. What astonishing speed! In the next second, a smile appeared on his face. His gaze moved. He stared straight at Long Fei and said, "Damn trash. Now that you do not have that Birdman to protect you, let's see how you can still be so arrogant. Someone come. Take him down." "Ha!" All the warrior of Meng clan surrounded Long Fei in unison. Those Sand Moon people were all stunned. "He just saved us. He definitely won't harm the princess." "Captain Meng, what's the meaning of this? Is there some kind of misunderstanding? Right now, the most important thing to do is to save the princess. Captain Meng, send someone to save the princess. Lord Long is a good person." Many people from the Sand Moon tribe spoke up for Long Fei. Meng Shan laughed coldly and said, Is he a good person? Humph. Not a single human being is a good person. Since that's the case, if you say he's a good person, then die with him. Kill them all. Also at this time, Long Fei squinted and said faintly, "Third time." Meng Shan smirked complacently. "What third time?" Long Fei said, "This is the third time you have said the word trash." "Ha ha ha." Meng Shan laughed out loud and said, "Which one of you human beings isn't a trash? I have seen a lot of trash like you, and I think I feel good about it." "In front of us, Magic Tribe, you guys are nothing but trash, trash. How is it? How many times have I said it now? Trash." Meng Shan did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all, because in his eyes humans were trash, and there was no comparison between them and the Magic Tribe. "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Trash, you're going to die soon. Trash. Ha ha ha." Meng Shan shouted crazily. Long Fei said lightly, "You're dead." Meng Shan laughed even louder and said, "Trash, do you know who died?" In an instant, Long Fei's figure disappeared. In the next moment, Long Fei appeared behind Meng Shan. Fast. It was incredibly fast. Meng Shan's pupils suddenly bulged, his eyes exploded in anger, and his eyeballs slowly turned behind him. At this moment, a large sword reflected in his eyes. A sword light flashed. Shwa. The sword chi was like thunder, exploding in the sky. At this moment, a head fell down, and half of its body stood on the spot, seemingly unable to react, as blood spewed out. A sword with a severed head. Instant kill. As the head fell to the ground, Meng Shan's eyes were still staring straight at Long Fei. Even in death, he didn't know how he died. The system sounded out. Ding! You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.